Fortnite Godzilla. This is my last chance. All right, everybody. Great positive news for you all. We've saved video games. Ubisoft announces studio closure as it lays off 185 staff. It is indeed still happening. Ubisoft is set to close its UK studio based in Leamington. Sorry, this is from Eurogamer, by the way. As it sheds 185 jobs across the business, a small number of Leamington staff will be retained under remote contracts. Additionally, Ubisoft offices in Dusseldorf, formerly Blue Byte, Stockholm, and Newcastle-based Ubisoft Reflections will be downsized. So we're already jumping right into it this year, unfortunately. As part of our ongoing efforts to prioritize projects and reduce costs that ensure long-term stability at Ubisoft, we have announced targeted restructurings at Ubisoft Dusseldorf, Ubisoft Stockholm, and Ubisoft Reflections, and the permanent closure of Ubisoft Leamington site. Unsurprising considering some of their recent performances. We know the state of Ubisoft is like in a kind of precarious place right now. They have the potential to be like THQ'd even. I think that's probably pretty unlikely, but it seems like a lot of things right now for Ubisoft specifically are really, really riding on the success of Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is in such an interesting position. Because I'm trying to find some of the previews. I feel like it's them giving people what they wanted for a really long time, right? I remember like even when we had like Assassin's Creed Revelations, people like make the Japanese one, make the samurai game, and then people unfortunately beat them to it significantly, easily. But they've delayed this game multiple times, I think, because they understand the pressure on it. Like they understand they gotta make something hot here, because they've had some financial blunders recently. Did we ever find out what was raised for the political merch? Yes, I checked after you reminded me to check. They paid it month by month, so the payment came through weird. We did not raise a ton of money. We raised $4,000, but I only get, let me check, is 1,700 of that, I think. So I donated 500 to Feeding America, and I donated 800 for all of the banjo stuff to LA Animal Services, and I'm going to donate an extra 200, and then the rest goes to the artist. But yes, it's kind of my bad. I didn't promote it as much as I should have because my dad died, so I didn't, it happens. But thank you so much to everybody who bought the merch. I appreciate you. It's still awesome to have been able to do that at all. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows previews are in. I personally, tell me how you feel about this, gamers. I personally am not interested. And the reason for my disinterest, despite also being one of the people who was like, I would love a big old Assassin's Creed game that is specifically samurai shit. Like I was saying that for ages. I'm tired of Ubisoft. Like I'm tired of the Ubisoft formula. I think that that's what's gotten them into the position that they're in. Is I just have Ubisoft fatigue. I played a little of the Avatar game, which was actually very good, but nothing they make because of the way that they make games can fundamentally be very different from all of the other games that they make, which means that you just end up with Ubisoft fatigue. Well, thank you so much, Projo DLC. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, what was that? Europe suffered what? Europe suffered. All I saw was Europe suffered. Oh, more than 21% of games lost, jobs lost. Sorry. Yeah, no, the games industry is in a terrible spot. There's plenty to cover about that too. But starting with Assassin's Creed, so yeah, I personally have Ubisoft fatigue. That is where my goddamn hair. I can't. I wonder if it would look worse or better if I let it out. Probably worse. Let's just go all in on whatever this is. Hey everybody. We're talking about Assassin's Creed. But there are some things about this preview that actually made it look very cool to me. Sorry if I'm ignorant. What is causing the game industry to be in a tough spot? Multiple things. The number one thing that has caused the games industry to be in this terrible position that it is currently in, and to be specific, I'm very, very focused on the Western games market, but not that it doesn't reach outside of that, is COVID. Um, because so many people were playing games during COVID, all these studios massively staffed up. They were making a ton of revenue, which dropped afterwards, and the stock market doesn't allow you to have those kinds of drops. There can't be any circumstantial rise and fall. It must all be calculated. And so if there is a drop that comes after the rise, it is seen as a massive failure, and people lose their fucking jobs. That's part one. Part two, and this is a thing I've been speaking about for years that I wish people would take more seriously. I genuinely have been saying it for such a long time, and I don't know why it's not being considered as a reality. Video games are no longer competing with video games. Video games are no longer competing with Fortnite is not its biggest competitor isn't Call of Duty. That's the way things used to be. That's not the way things are now. Video games are competing with social media. The landscape is all about time. Everything is about where you spend your time. The time that you spend every day and where you spend it is the investment you are making in a company. If you hate Twitter and you're spending all day on Twitter, you are giving Twitter the time. You are giving them the most valuable thing that you have. That is what they all want. You're giving it right to them. Right now, video games are competing with your Facebook feed. They're competing with Instagram Reels. They're competing with TikTok. There are less minutes per day that people could be playing video games because they're playing other things instead. There used to be a thing where someone would pick up a video game for 30 minutes and play through it. They now just spend all that fucking time on their phone. So video games are actively still making a shit ton of money, to be clear. The industry is still very profitable, which is the most annoying part. It just has to be more profitable year over year because capitalism is a very hungry beast. But yeah, they're effectively losing the time wars, and I actually think that's where Xbox is really ahead of the curve in a way that I feel like people aren't quite realizing. This play anywhere thing, I think, is actually the only way really right now to future-proof the industry, to make it as easy to pick up a video game on your phone as it is to scroll your Instagram feed is extremely important for the games industry right now. Otherwise, people are going to stop fucking playing video games, other than mobile games, obviously, which, if you're part of my community, you're probably, I presume, more of the core gamer, plays a single player video game, not trying to play competitive fucking Valorant or whatever, you know what I mean? Not trying to play mobile games. It's a core console PC market experience. My nieces watch more Minecraft and Roblox content than actually playing games. That's true of a lot of people. That's true of a shit ton of people. All the grifters are doing the same thing. They're talking about and shitting on games more so than they are playing them. That is absolutely a thing. So yeah, we're basically just, we're in a pretty tough spot top to bottom. Let me pull up this. Is a thing I was planning to go over on stream anyway. Give me a second. We talk about it on the most recent episode of Play Watch Listen, which just went up in the morning. Ugh, not that big. Is there a way for me to just look at this medium-sized? Here we go, PDF. Here. This is a presentation from, it's Andrew Bell, all right? Matthew Ball, completely wrong. That's just a really data-driven look at the state of the games industry right now. It is, you can view it in like slideshow format. I'm looking at the PDF right now. Really insightful. If you're a person who cares about video games at all, I would really recommend looking through it. Like if you have any interest in the state of the industry right now. But yeah, the problems are numerous for sure. I play 2 mobile games and they measure their success and engagement where they try to keep you on your phone in whatever game as long as they can. They don't care what the players are having fun. Bro, don't even get me started. My next YouTube video, I'm actually just like waiting for the sponsor to figure stuff out right now. Is specifically about, well, it's about Twitter threads and Blue Sky, but is specifically about the difference between catering to a user base and serving them, and catering to engagement, and how those two things are different. and how I feel like recently audiences are becoming aware of the difference, which I feel like is a very, very recent change. That people, again, extremely recently are like, wait, you're just trying to steal my fucking time. I have debated making a video about gacha games and about how disgustingly predatory they are, but they're also so popular that I'm like, I feel like maybe I shouldn't make that video as someone who doesn't play them, because obviously a lot of people really love them, but I just, in my opinion slash the impression I get, thank you again, Brojo DLC, thank you so much. All subs right now going to the LA Fire Relief charity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. We need enjoyment-based algorithms. I do think Blue Sky is much better than that. Yeah, I don't know. I thought about making that gacha video, but I feel like maybe I should spend more time playing some gacha games so I have the perspective of like why people even like them, because from the outside I don't fucking get it. So, but they are really predatory, and I do not want the industry flooded with them. And I also, it's a little crazy to me that the gacha games that ended up nominated for the Player's Choice at the Game Awards, they literally paid to be there. Like, they made their audiences vote for them. Like, it's literal corruption. There was incentives in those games to vote for them for the Game Awards. That's why I think it was like Infinity Nikki and was what's the other extremely popular one that I'm forgetting the name of that I've always wanted to try? I don't remember what it's fucking called. But basically just they both just forced their audiences to vote for them, and no one was mad about that. That seems fucking crazy to me. Okay, yeah, so this article, this presentation is really, really interesting. From 2011 to 2021, video gaming soared. I hate that they call it video gaming. You could get some people that are experiencing the gacha scene too. Also, what the gacha scene is like is different in parts of the world beside US and Europe. Well, I guess I was gonna make like a full scripted YouTube video, which I don't really have means to have other people in there, but I guess I could interview people about it, I suppose. Yes, Genshin Impact was the other one I was thinking of. Sorry. Spending grew at a rate twice the 20 preceding years. So huge video game success. Big part of 2020's growth was COVID. Gaming's 2011 to 2021 growth didn't just beat its historical averages, it significantly outpaced global growth benchmarks, e.g. 3.4 times the rate of the world real GDP. That's insane. Video games actually more successful than the entire fucking GDP. Well, not more successful, but proportionally, you know what I mean? That's crazy. I played Star Rail when it was new because it looked like a cool turn-based RPG. I liked it, and then I kept rationalizing buying multiples for a character I didn't need before I snapped out. Dude, people have spent like $60,000 on those games. And you're out here complaining that Assassin's Creed Shadows has a black guy in it? Like, I feel like gacha is so much worse. Am I crazy? Thank you, Peter, for the $46 donation. Nice, 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 nice. Thank you, Serenity Fan. To be fair, Genshin, others under that brand aren't predatory at all. I was asked once about microtransactions and never again. I get the impression that Genshin is like top of the top in terms of like it actually just has good content. Like it genuinely has good content. You don't need to buy anything. But again, this is the part where I would need to educate myself more. But there's just a shit ton of predatory issues that I have with gacha games, and they are getting more and more successful, and they are very predatory in their monetization practices, and it's not fucking good. Please join OnlyFans content stuff. Are you telling me to join OnlyFans? What's OnlyFans? I will not be joining OnlyFans, literally ever. Thank you, Morning Clem. And thank you, Ryan Not Lion. I don't disagree with you, my friend. It's a WoW streaming guild? Oh. Why would I join that? There's the infamous story of the guy that embezzled 4.6 million so that he could spend $1 million on Game of War Fire Age. Insane. Insane, dude. Crazy. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so Though few anticipated a slowdown or even a pullback after COVID, most expected that gaming's growth would continue at high rates, if not accelerate, which is like part of where we got into the problem we did, right? COVID, shit fucking popped off. Shit really, really, really popped off. The games industry was making so much money, it was projected to make even more money, and then it didn't. Which is how we ended up in the position that we're in. Spend fell by 3.5% in 2022, then barely grew in 2023 and 2024, finishing flat over 3 years, thus short tens of billions in revenue versus forecasts. Again, majority of that is due to COVID. The success of COVID was so big for the games industry that there were all of these projections about how much money everyone would be making, and then they didn't meet those projections. So, like, I do need to be clear. The games industry is still profitable. Obviously, it is still profitable. It is still profitable in the millions upon millions upon millions for each of these companies. They are still making so much fucking money. It's the problem with the stock market is that when you're making even slightly less money or the same amount of money, you are failing. Like, with the way that publicly traded companies work, if you're making the same amount of money or less money, it is considered to be way less money, even if it's not. Even if you are still making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And that is, again, why the games industry is in such a bad spot overall. This decline occurred despite the end of the console/GPU shortages mid-2022, and in 2023, arguably the best content release slate in the industry's 70-year history. Just a lot of fucking great games in one small span of time. And that's barely even touching it. There's a lot of fucking good-ass video games. They didn't even put God of War Ragnarok in there. That's crazy. Why wouldn't you? That's insane. What's wrong with you? That came out sort of vaguely in this period of time, and they didn't even include that? Okay. A post-pandemic pullback is insufficient to explain gaming's contract and stall spending on books, music, and video, especially. Ooh, that's actually really interesting. Post-pandemic pullback, to be clear, is a huge part of it, and it's different to books and video because people were spending so much time playing video games while they had nothing else to do. Okay, it's certainly part of it. The time is very important. And so not only does video game industry now fall short of global growth benchmarks, it's actually shrinking in real terms, roughly down 13% since 2021, which again, layoffs. We're very well aware of this. The scalpers didn't help anything by gobbling up the new consoles and GPUs, so people still wanted to buy the new games, had nothing to play them on unless they spent way over retail. I wish there was something that we could do about scalpers. I really wish there was something we could do about scalpers. I just went through the painful as shit process of signing up here. It's excruciating. I wanted to say something about gacha games. Somebody told me that when you're training dogs, you don't reward them every time, but only sometimes, so then they will not be sure when their reward is coming, and then that what keeps them better than rewarding all the time? Huh? Scalp the scalpers? Bro, I wish we could. Doesn't quite work that way. Pokemon TCG scalpers are arguably worse than during COVID times. They are, yeah. The Pokemon TCG scalpers are fucking out of control. Shoe scalpers are really bad too. Like, as somebody who also likes a shoe for Nikes, they're really, really, really bad. They just, I don't know what we're supposed to do about scalping. Like, if anyone figures out how to solve that problem, we'd have solved that problem. But I guess the problem is, like, the sellers don't give a shit, right? It's not just the spend is declining. Players are too. Average playtime is partly recovered, but this is mostly because less engaged players stopped playing entirely, which I do think is a real fight that we have. And what I worry about with this more than anything, like with the player engagement being down, is how do you win those people back? Video games, obviously, when you're working on a video game, obviously you want to make sure people enjoy it. You will cut things where they drag. You will change things to make sure that engagement is good. But in the pool of video games that I've worked on / am working on, game devs just want to make good games. People just think about making good games across the board. We want to make something good. We're not thinking about, well, we're losing player retention. Haha. I sound like Mickey Mouse at this particular level, and we need to, make sure we fix it here. That doesn't really cross the mind of any game developer that I've worked with ever. They just want to make good games. My biggest concern regarding losing the players who used to play games much more casually to Twitter and Instagram and TikTok is that is going to be a publisher mandated change. I worry that we are going to have an increase in even like your AAA studios, story-based studios, your Naughty Dogs, being forced to make games that include more intentionally predatory player retention practices. This is not a thing that currently happens. I worry that this is going to be a thing that will start happening. Obviously, live service games were a push towards that. When there was a big call to make more live service games, that is absolutely coming from a player retention angle. It's not giving gamers what they want. They don't give a shit about that, where those kind of calls come in. It's not about giving game devs what they want. They don't give a shit about that, where game devs are concerned. It is literally just about engaging that time, about the specific amount of time that you can keep somebody playing a video game. Obviously didn't work. Just make better games doesn't work because you are competing with extremely addictive algorithms. For as long as video games don't have the ability to cater directly to what you've engaged with in the last 10 minutes, you know what I mean? It is such a tough competition, and I just worry that the response is going to be a huge shift in video games. If I were to give you any kind of plea, it would be really, really, really spend the time that you have, the time, your literal time. What you do with your day is what you do with your life. Try and think about that. What you do every day is what you do with your life. Do you want to spend all day on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok? If you like video games, you're passionate about the games industry, just consider playing more video games, man. Play the ones you like. Support the ones you like. Because right now, yeah, we're competing with algorithms, and I worry about how the industry is going to shift to try to compete with those. Shortfall of player dollars and hours versus forecast even versus 2021 has led to an unprecedented number of commercial disappointments or flops. Some of this, a little more predicted. Was Halo Infinite a flop? X-Defiant, I didn't fucking know anything about. Forspoken, the trailers really hurt that game. Kind of fun to play. Wasn't a fan of the writing. I did not like it. Gotham Knights, wasn't interested in that one from the fucking jump. Just really not my kind of game. Multiverses was really fun. Skull and Bones came out too late. Crucible, never heard of it. New Tales from the Borderlands, didn't know that existed. Gundam Evolution, actually really sick. The game was sick. Guardians of the Galaxy, also very good. Halo Infinite, I did not end up playing the campaign, which is crazy, because I was waiting for co-op and I wanted the co-op so bad. And then they cancelled it. Apex Legends Mobile, didn't know that existed. Callisto Protocol, played it, finished it, not a great game. Suicide Squad, didn't even play it. Concord, I only know about Concord because of like the outrage marketing. Like, I feel like that game basically wasn't marketed. I knew nothing about it. And then suddenly it was like, it didn't succeed because it was woke. I don't even know what's woke about it. I know nothing about Concord. Still, to this day. It was a hero shooter, maybe? But they just didn't market. Hi-Fi Rush, banger, please play that game. Star Wars Outlaws, Ubisoft Formula. I've heard Prince of Persia is very, very good. I actually bought it, but I haven't played it yet. Battlefield Mobile, never heard of Hyperscape. Avengers was bad. I really did not like that game. I think Troy got mad at me. I like made a really, really negative video about it. It's like one of my most negative videos ever was that I just really did not fucking like that game. And I remember we were still Troy was still on Play Watch Listen, and there was like some moment where he was like, "What the fuck, Alanah?" That's my bad. Sorry, bro. Splitgate is actually pretty cool. Pretty cool. Avatar, Frontiers of Penta, I already spoke about that. Ubisoft Formula. I again, that was the thing that I wanted to ask the gamers among us, the people who actually play video games, you know what I mean? The real gamers, if you will. How do I phrase the question? Are you at a point where you will not play a Ubisoft game because it's too formulaic? Like, I guess the poll question would be, like, do you not play Ubisoft games? But I'm asking really specifically if it's Ubisoft fatigue. Like, are you at a point where you are uninterested in Ubisoft games because you've played too many? Let me put the put a poll up. It's /poll, right? I'm making a poll. I'm doing it. Are you not playing UB because tired of UB formula? I will not play UB. I still play UB. Don't care about form. It's not. I don't. I will play UB. Formula. It's not my issue. Here we go. I maybe still didn't phrase that very well, but I did my best. There you go. Poll. Oh, you already started one. I'm really bad at that. Yeah, you phrased it way better. Do you have Ubisoft fatigue is a way more sensible way to phrase that. It's just this Avatar and Outlaws are like very similar games fundamentally with different skins. You know what I mean? Skull and Bones is different. That was a marketing cycle that I think burned that one. And you already had Sea of Thieves, which like people love so much, but yeah. Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. I remember when I wonder if I could find them, because like I took down like half the videos on my YouTube channel, right? People have many conspiracies about why that is. I took down literally hundreds of videos. It's just because I changed the format. Here we go. I think these two. My reaction to Gotham Knights was super negative. This video has 270,000 views. And I said in my thumbnail, said I have concerns. And I remember getting so many comments that were like, fuck off. You're so negative. Do you hate everything? This game's gonna be good, shut up. But from the jump, man, I just really, really, really was not into him. It was funny. So many people are commenting just about caring about Batman being dead. I forgot that that was like even part of their marketing campaign and then ended up like kind of not really mattering at all. How funny. And I think I said the exact same thing about the Suicide Squad game too. They just didn't look good, unfortunately, or at least didn't look like what I wanted from those particular franchises. Rising failure rates have also led to game makers to cancel scores of in-production titles, having lost faith in the business cases they had approved only a few years ago. Naughty Dog cancelled its Last of Us multiplayer game. Take-Two cancelled. Says cancel gamed what? Core franchise titles. Take-Two sells private division in almost all of its games. New Deus Ex game reportedly coming cancelled by that gaming company. We all know who that is. Bandai Namco reveals it cancelled at least 5 in-development games. So that is like obviously a huge loss of money that they're going to be scrambling to fix back up as well. And VC content funding has plummeted to falling 77%. Yeah, so the funding thing is something that's hitting the industry pretty hard as well. Batman death was disgusting, but he's brought back at the end of the Suicide Squad season. His death was disgusting, was it? I'm not talking about Suicide Squad, to be clear there. I'm talking about Gotham Knights. I don't think you see him die. He just is dead. In that particular game? I don't remember. I just joined, but my thought is that the market is just too oversaturated. There are more video games than ever before, but the market is not too oversaturated with video games. The market is too oversaturated with people doing leisurely things. Humans have access to simply too much entertainment, and the things that are the most predatory are winning, a la your Instagram feed. Though I'm sure this will present probably some stuff that I'm not even aware of, right? The collapse in venture investment dollars comes not just from smaller average investment rounds, but also far fewer rounds and from far fewer investors. Yeah, again, this is the thing people who are in the industry are really talking about right now. It's very hard to get funding for a video game at the moment. People are really, really picky about what they're willing to fund. I feel like too many companies are focusing on the low input, high output games where the player provides the content. Yep, 100%. And I was really surprised to see Sony cancel those live service games. because I really thought they would still be going for it, but I guess after Concord they realized it doesn't work. Like, it was almost like a desperate attempt to increase player engagement retention, but it didn't work. Thank you so much, Talos Fury 717. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. I would be fine with games that don't require a massive budget. Just look at Nintendo's library. I've said this before. I just put this on Instagram yesterday regarding Doom: The Dark Ages. I don't need games to be bigger. Stop making them bigger. Bigger as a marketing point to me is actually off-putting. Don't say, we made the biggest, most expansive version of our game ever. I don't want that. Stop doing that, please. I don't want it. You know what I want to hear in that trailer voice? We made roughly the same size video game, but with more variety in it. And of higher quality. That's what I want. You know what I mean? Don't go, the largest map that Doom has ever seen. Give me, the maps are like the same as the size in Doom 1. Love it. Frequently replay Doom 1993. Huge fan of Doom 2. Actually, the maps are quite small, but they're very meticulously designed. Way prefer that. I just don't need bigger video game. I don't want bigger video game. Video game could even be smaller, then that would be fine. We can go back to 8-hour games. Nobody's saying you didn't have to make The Last of Us Part 2 25 hours. I liked it when it was 10 to 12. Smaller. Smaller, better video game. Not bigger. Bigger, not inherently good. Please stop making games bigger. Sometimes it's too big. Lube can only help so much. Okay? I don't need all that content. Okay? Stop it. Every game should be the size of Daggerfall. People want to get their money's worth out of $60. Do they? That's a really interesting one to me. People will always say, well, it's got to be 50 hours for my $60, but these people don't finish video games. Statistically, we know people aren't finishing video games. Like, the completion rates are so fucking low. People pay $20 for Dodger Dogs? That's a great fucking point. People will spend $15 on a hat at Disneyland. People will spend $30 on a shirt. And $60 for a video game you play for 100 hours is bad value? You know what I mean? But you'll play Balatro for 100 hours? Right? Do I think Xbox has the right approach for the future of gaming? Genuinely, yes. I think that Xbox is in a really tough spot right now. But I also think that making video games more accessible is the thing that we probably need more than we've ever needed it before. That it has to be as easy to play a video game as it is to scroll your Twitter feed. I just, like I said, I really hope that we don't end up with really predatory practices to, force player engagement, like intentionally addictive development approaches, which we currently really don't have. So, many of the independent studios founded since 2019 are now closing. Again, a huge problem. Studios you haven't heard of are all closing as well, not just the ones we know of. Didn't Xbox just release 80% of their Ultimate subs are on Xboxes? They said they still focus on the console because of that. Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, what they say and what they do are also, there's some interesting shit there. Out of curiosity, do you think the $100 is the ceiling price of when GTA comes out, or is it just the estimated number? We don't know anything about that, really. The GTA being $100 thing we also talk about on Play Watch Listen this week. We don't know if that's happening or not. I'm sure that the industry would love to increase the price of video games, obviously. GTA is just the easiest way to do it, because it's so popular and people will buy it no matter what. Whoa, thank you so much, Mickey B6453 for the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate you. Subs this month are all going towards charity. They won't go there immediately, obviously, though, because I have to wait to donate them at the end of the month. But I'm happy to do that. We'll do that live on stream. When I receive it, I will pay it forward. Thank you very much. Employees have been hit hard, suffering back-to-back record layoffs. Layoffs might help short-term margins, but they won't restore industry growth. Yeah, there are also just issues with layoffs in general where you lose all of that experience. It makes it harder to make video games, you know? We keep acting like it's not a problem, but it's a fucking problem. And what game makers need is growth. Gaming stocks have underperformed the market by 19 to 140%. That's crazy. Since 2020, most have lost 10 to 80% of value outright. Woof, Ubisoft. Woof, bro. Man, COVID, dude. Crazy. It just went... Capcom, killing it. I've been saying that for a few years now, too, that I think Capcom is doing a really fucking good job right now. Not only do they have new IP, they've effectively, like, single-handedly revitalized the horror genre. Specifically survival horror is now just popping off specifically because of Capcom. Also investing in beloved IP like Dragon's Dogma 2, which is like still a very high quality game. I love that game. And yes, their games have microtransactions, but I think they have them in the most ignorable way ever. I would prefer what Capcom does, where they have microtransactions that are there that you don't even really know are there, that you can buy if you want to, and that we still get the variety and quality of games that they come up with. Fucking Monster Hunter. Great job. Why is Konami doing so well? I don't even know what they're working on right now. Behind the headline, layoffs are still meaningful hiring. Most publishers will have more employees in 2025 than in 2022, even net of acquisitions. That's interesting. Didn't know that. They make gambling games? Well, I know Konami makes gacha as well, right? But do the casino games count here? If it's... Well, I guess it does count. Silent Hill, that's true. They're not making all that money for fucking Silent Hill. So, what's going on? No industry has a right to grow several times faster than the real GDP, let alone for a decade. Gaming achieved it through several concurrent growth engines. But this is true. These several growth engines grew the video gaming industry's players. I mean, this is also kind of a good point, right? Was that the games industry's success was like a freak occurrence. Like, it was doing so much better than so many other industries. It's a huge outlier and was ultimately never going to be sustainable. They fucking basically, in a lot of ways, got really lucky. These several growth engines grew the video game industry's player base plus playtime plus spend while strengthening network effects and often amplifying one another. Fucking battle passes. You know, I've never bought a battle pass before. Not once in my life have I bought a battle pass. I won't do it. I simply will not do it. I will stop playing a game before buying a fucking battle pass. Nearly all of the top games of the last 15 years have taken advantage of several growth engines simultaneously. Yeah. Interesting that Among Us is there. But, like, if you look at, like, Roblox, COD, Apex, Genshin, Fortnite, PUBG, these are the things that succeed. It's about earning avenues, really. It's about micro spend and player retention. So it's about, like, making sure people keep playing your video game and keep spending money on your video game. And that's why we have black hole games, right? Where, like, ideally, for Roblox, if you play Roblox, you don't play anything else. That actually is a great example of a people will play it rather than browsing social media game. They will pick up Roblox on their iPad or their phone and play Roblox for 20 minutes. It's very easy to pick up and do that with, and I hate this. Some games in here that I really like. I love Apex. I love Among Us. I loved PUBG for a while. I love Minecraft. Fuck Candy Crush. But this, like, you look at this and you you can just see the writing on the wall of the games industry going, okay, well, these live service gambles didn't work. Maybe there is more mobile. Maybe they do go harder into mobile. Which again, I think is what Xbox is already doing. My nephews would commit murder for Roblox. Yeah, I know some of the Roblox kids. Huge thing. Steam Deck is good for that. Yeah, Steam Deck's pretty expensive though, and like it's not as accessible as your phone. Like every single one of these games is available on mobile. That is how you make a successful video game these days. It's mobile. And I hate that. And I hate that. Again, Genshin, I understand, has a really good story and it's like actually a good RPG, right? Like I haven't played it, but that's the impression I get, not to discredit Genshin. It's just, this is the thing that they're trying to make. Have to make it so that it can be played on mobile. I am concerned about single player games. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yet the old growth engines are mostly exhausted. Don't work anymore. There are a few high value mobile players left to add. That's interesting. Like all the player base has already been eaten up. No new playtime to find. A few games to add battle passes. And the many would-be growth engines have yet to drive real revenue or player growth, let alone generate new market leaders. Yeah, that tracks. There's no fucking money in esports, you guys. It's a lie. I've met esports execs who, to my face, were like, I don't know why everyone's spending so much money on this. Crazy. It's, when I say no money, I'm not saying it's losing that much money. It's just, it's nowhere near as much as people think. Allegedly, from what I've been told. Yeah, the crypto Web3 NFTs thing, some studios pivoted to that. That hasn't fucking worked out for them, has it? Cloud gaming, I still think there's pretty good potential there. I actually think that the Google Stadia. It was sick for me. I had a great time with that thing. It worked great for me. I know you're not allowed to say that when things are bad. You just have to say that they're bad. It worked really well for me as somebody in LA with a stable internet connection. It probably came too soon. It may have succeeded if it came a little later. You were right across the street from the data center? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think Stadia was kind of ahead of its time. Didn't EA actually say they lost a bunch of money this year? This says that EA was up 2%. FIFA is obviously still very profitable for them, though I understand that the latest FIFA is like really buggy, like kind of a disaster. Would it succeed now? No, I would still think it's a little too soon for Stadia. But that's kind of where you're supposed to start, is ahead of time, right? With video gaming's growth engine slowings, it's less surprising that participation, engagement, and spend are all waning. The 2011 to 2021 era is getting old. Meanwhile, the industry is facing many new challenges, all while the old challenges have intensified. 100%. Black hole games is a big one, I think. Foreign focused growth is a really interesting one. I do think, I think I said this, but I definitely got whispers of this towards the end of last year, that we're likely to see a boom out of Korea and China, which I'm actually really excited about. I think that we're going to see a bit of a boom from studios in China and Korea, because a lot of like video game successes can also end up being government funded. You know, like Poland is like actually pretty huge in terms of video game production, and a lot of that is government subsidized, which is really cool. Australia is actually pretty good about that too. We've had some great Australian games that have been government grant funded. What does black hole games mean? It's like a game that sucks you in and then you play nothing else. Roblox is a black hole game. It prevents people from playing other games. It means all of that money goes towards that one particular thing and nowhere else. WoW is a black hole. Yeah. Black hole is just, you get really sucked into something. Another consideration is the current administration has expressly stated they want to get rid of video games. So yes and no, right? I think I said this on Playwatch Listen as well. I always pay attention as somebody who, you know, my video games are my whole fucking life. Everything I've done, really my whole life has been about working on video games. It's like all I've ever done. Clearly I'm very invested. It matters to me if video games fail. I always pay attention to what the current administration in Western countries of power. So I'll do it for the UK and I'll do it for the US and I'll do it for Australia. Not that Australia, when you ain't got no fucking power. Basically, yes, Trump has blamed video games for violence. So is everyone else, though. Because America keeps fucking electing the elderly instead of just letting them retire. Trump's, what's he, like 82 or some shit? Insane. You give that man the most important job in the country? He's fucking 80? Sorry, he's 78. He's going to be 82 by the end of the term. That's where I got the number 82 from. Crazy! A 78-year-old should be taking naps. Fucking insane. So they're all going to hate video games, is my point. They're all just going to hate video games. Like this, that's not specific to Trump. It's really all of them. Doesn't his brother own ZeniMax? Is that a thing? He'll be older than Biden at the end? Oh, stop it. Just elect fucking younger people who are fit for office. It's crazy shit, dude. You can't keep getting away with this. Insane. $300 million people, and these are the candidates we get. It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Does the rest of the world just doesn't exist for USA? Where's all that violence everywhere else where we have video games? Yeah, so look, clearly it's not. That's not the problem. You figured it out. Video games, not actually the problem. That's crazy. Who'd have thought? If only there'd been studies on this. You ever get tired of talking about this stuff? You're driving yourself insane? Do I ever get tired of talking about video games? No. Politics? Also no. No, I don't. It's too important. Gaming's growth is driven by mobile growth. The form factor is over 2/3 of spend since 2011 and is now 55% with the total market, up from 32%. Surprising nobody. VR has also actually been pretty successful. Obviously, I play a lot of VR. I play VR regularly, and I will say it's full of kids. Like, most of the time when I'm playing an online game in VR, there are adults in the workout games that I play, but a lot of the, like, multiplayer games that I play are children. Yeah, mobile, obviously huge. We knew that. Has been that way for ages. I feel like, again, the core gamer, the people I think are part of my audience are trying to resist that. It's tough out here. I'm not gonna lie, if you listen to all the stuff blamed for the problems, video games, heavy metal, I should be a sadistic serial killer according to all those groups. I'm not, I swear. Also, same. I'm an atheist. I listen to hardcore music. My favorite band is Under Oath. Technically religious, but still. They scream. Well, or System of a Down. They'd be counted as well, right? Video games. I read Stephen King books. I love horror. You know how many people I've murdered? None. Not even one time. Okay? Maybe. The media we consume is not the problem. That said, there's still time. You know? Yet. There's still time. A mobile game is just like the kids and olds, or is there just a region play base I'm super unaware of? Oh, well, this is literally the slide in front of us. Other markets are way more video game heavy than you might be aware, but it's just that they're effectively like different gaming audiences. 0 body count I see. So far. Watch yourself. I might. I'm applying for a gun license. Doing that right now. Literally am. Getting a shotgun. Hey, thank you, Mr. Nice Guy, for the $10. Appreciate you. The iPhone led to billions of new players in hours, but after 18 years, growth now relies on population growth and smartphone adoption in very low ARPU markets. This is so interesting to me. I've mentioned it here and there that I've been writing a book. I think I've got 80,000 words now. It's pretty close to being done. A big part of the core of my political driving factor is in that book is leaders panicking over population stagnation. This is a huge thing. We have less people. We don't have less people. That's not the right way to put that. The exponential rise of childbirth is declining. There are still more people being born. We still have population growth. But this is a really, really interesting one, is when you don't have, and I'm so interested to see how this unfolds, right? When you don't have people willing to have children, which right now there aren't for a lot of reasons. This is a huge fucking problem for rich people. Like, Elon is so about population because when you have less people, you have less people to buy your fucking products. It is such a big problem. I think South Korea specifically is like one of the leaders for their population growth declining, but it is also happening in the US. So like when we talk about like the male loneliness epidemic slash the young male unfuckability epidemic, like there's a rise of incels and nobody wants to fuck them because they're like snooty little assholes, right? Certainly a myriad of problems with that come from like a rise of like I think like younger activist lefties being really fucking hostile towards people, pushing them out. It's like a different brand of bullying in a lot of cases. Essentially, people aren't replacing themselves in the way that they used to. Money is also a huge problem with that. I think everyone right now feels like they can't afford to have kids. I feel like I couldn't afford to have kids. I can't even, if I feel that way, I can't even imagine how like most people who aren't content creators feel. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to fucking have kids anymore because they can't afford it and they're miserable. This is a big problem for a market that requires more population growth for more spend. India has over 1 billion people and they need to have a mobile, but most can't afford a console or PC gaming. Mobile exploding in places like India makes sense. Totally, yeah. I don't know if that's an actual real concern for them, Charles. Sounds like another talking point to radicalize folks. No. It's an actual real concern. I 100% assure you that growth relying on population growth, as is listed on this chart, is an actual real concern. That they need more people in order to fund more industries exponentially. That this is 100% a real thing. It's a big old problem. Can't afford to have a kid, but got yourself a Banjo. Is he not your child? Listen, Banjo is my son. Banjo? Not that expensive. Not that he's cheap, because he's, like, medically disabled. He does cost money, but you know what I mean. That's why Elon and Vance are wanting to push breeding. Genuinely, yes. And climate change, why bring kids into this? Yeah, I know a lot of people who, like, don't want to have kids because they don't want to bring them into this particular planet. That is definitely a huge thing. That's anecdotal, obviously, but yeah, I've heard many people say that. Like, I don't want to have a kid here, considering the climate. Why would there be any investment in AI at all? That's also a great question. There will always be jobs for the working class. A lot of the AI push is to replace creative output. A lot of the AI push, yeah, sorry, that's what I said. Did I phrase that right? AI push is to replace creative output. There is still obviously mass need for jobs in production markets, and I don't think that will be going anywhere. If any of you have ever read Brave New World, it's got some really interesting stuff. It's a weird book. I don't know that I recommend it, but it is classic lit. And one of my favorite things about it is it's like alternate future. It's focused on Ford, as in the car manufacturer, where they are only allowed to create a new sport if it requires more tools than a previous sport for consumerist reasons. It's a really interesting part of that book, that it's like you can only invent another piece of entertainment if it requires more production, because they need more people to produce more things. So like they end up having these sports that have like, 20 different tools that need to be used because it excuses making the production of those tools. So like even the entertainment they're allowed to have must require more production so that people are continuously producing. It's really interesting. But yeah, we're in an interesting spot with population growth for sure. Markets, like, does capitalism collapse because people aren't reproducing? Maybe. Who knows? It's really, really interesting stuff, though. So yeah, this is 3 billion mobile games, 68% of smartphone owners, 50% of those over the age of 10. It's not as much as you would think. 68% is not that high. And again, I actually think Xbox is doing the right thing here, where the games industry is just in a really tough spot. And social video is eating leisure time. That's what I keep fucking saying. I've been screaming this for years. Social video is eating leisure time. That is a far bigger competitor to the games industry than anybody is aware of. Technically, you're watching this stream right now. Play a video game at the same time, okay? Just play any of you. If you could be here and hang out with me right now while I talk to you about this, if you could also go play Donkey Kong Country Returns on your Switch, I would really appreciate that. You could do both at once. You know what I mean? Don't let me eat your leisure time. Also play Donkey Kong Country remake on your Nintendo Switch, okay? I'm also fine with you drawing. Drawing is allowed. Grinding PoE 2, perfect. Playing Marvel Snap, great. Love it. Great. Excellent. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear so many of you are also playing video games. That's what we really want. This is great news. Powell, I'll take it. Are you allowed to eat instead? Absolutely not, Jeff. You're fired. Does Squeak account? Yes. Just play video games as well. Yeah, this is saying adults spend 35 more. I don't know what that means. Hours a day watching TikTok than peak of mobile gaming spend. Yeah. And again, this is a thing that I feel like most gamers have not yet clocked. I've been screaming about it for years. Video games are not competing with video games. Video games are competing with TikTok. Video games are competing with Twitter. Video games are competing with Instagram. I will keep saying it. Video games are actually competing with all of the other really accessible leisure. We have an entertainment surplus. This is a problem for the games industry. And that is why I will keep saying the people who fucking make shitty grifty YouTube videos where they don't really give a fuck about video games and all they want to do is complain are contributing to this exact problem that they're complaining about. You are contributing to this issue. You are making these shit heap videos that make people mad about this thing rather than encouraging them to play the ones they like and actually support the industry. You're not fucking helping at all. TikTok growth hasn't cannibalized other social video platforms. US adults have grown in their use of the category by over 100 million hours a day since... Jesus Christ, that's awful. That's too much. It's simply too much. Ugh. IDFA created a vicious cycle. Install volumes down plus costs up. Player time spend and ad revenue fall. UA even costlier. Install volumes go down more. Yeah, it's eating itself. Ouroboros. Social video have led to mobile gaming to lose 2.6% of its share of digital media time among US adults. A 17% drop. Social video, killing video games. Actively killing video games. After 3 years, global mobile gaming spend remains down 8% from its peak. Real spending is down 23%. The competitive consequences are even greater. It is very interesting. Tell me about it. I wish YouTube in particular were a more positive platform, but all the negative videos seem to get pushed to the front. Yeah, look, I don't really watch YouTube. Okay, I've notoriously said I don't really watch a lot of YouTube. What happens if I look at my homepage as someone who doesn't really watch YouTube? Does it look inherently negative? It doesn't really look... Okay, I actually think that my YouTube homepage, if I show you this, I've got my own stream. I've got a friend. I've got Minmax, who are effectively also friends. I don't know who or what this is, but that's like a comedy skit video, I'm assuming. That's someone that I know / I'm subscribed to. That's me. Trump video. This person knew Trump would win? We all knew Trump would win. That's someone I know. That's someone I know. I think mine's okay. I mean, I've got Josh Sawyer. None of this seems inherently negative. Like, am I being pushed negative content here? I mean, that's negative, I guess. No one loves you, boy. That's pretty negative. That video with 51 views. I've got Hassan, QT again, Ethan. These are people I personally know. Life is woke. I don't... Mine doesn't feel overly negative? Am I crazy? It pushes what you watch. Yeah, what I'm saying is because I don't really watch anything, I think it's just giving me... The Brett Cooper was the one negative thing I spotted. I mean, even that, though, Trump would win. Is that negative? Right? Surprised I don't get pushed all the hate videos on you, Alanah. I've never watched them. I don't get videos about people who hate me because I don't watch them. Like, I don't watch any of the, like, I really mean that when I say it. I don't know who the fuck these people are. Grums tweeted something the other day where he said that I said something about him, and I was like, that wasn't about you at all. Let me see if I can find it. Like, I don't know what these people talk about. I don't pay attention to the things they say. None of it. So I would never get videos about myself because I don't watch that stuff. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. It was a reply to the serfs. I didn't even really know that this had happened. Except that a friend shared it here. This here. The serfs posted about Grums. So this is about me, which this is so funny. My face is AI in this, by the way. It's crazy that people aren't aware that my face is AI. Did I just get raided by the serfs while talking about the serfs? That's such crazy timing. Did I just summon you? That's insane. So Grums, who I never see on my timeline, said, I've helped make multiple billion-dollar game franchises. The launch genre still get called a tourist. Word has lost all meaning. Meanwhile, the woman making up her game credits is calling you one. Didn't make up my game credits, obviously. I wasn't talking about him. Like, I don't get this dude on my timeline. I was like, this wasn't about you at all. What? When I was saying the fake gamers thing, the thing that's in this screenshot I said that people who want games to fail were fake gamers, and I assumed that Carr knew because we talk about the same kind of shit. I was very specifically referring to console fanboys. Like, I was very, very, very specifically referring to the Xbox fanboys who were celebrating Sony canceling games. And I was like, these people are fake fucking gamers. I don't give a shit. It's about console wars. That's what I was talking about. Grumps said I was talking about him, and I was like, I didn't call you a tourist. What? I have no idea how that was about him at all. Again, AI face. Incredible. So then the serf shared it, and I replied here, which, hello, the serfs. And I said, to be fair, I wasn't referring to him or anything he said at all. I don't even know if he has said anything about this stuff. Again, I don't. I don't see Grums on my timeline. I don't think I've ever addressed him. Again, I don't think I have. Like, I don't really know that much about any of these people. I was, with that particular topic, referring to people who cry 24/7 on YouTube about games they hate, but they haven't even played, which you can't tell me they don't fucking do. We know they do for money. Rarely ever talk about games they do like or support anything in those games. The thing they screenshotted in the thumbnail, in which my face was AI, is me referring to Xbox fanboys. It's all correct. It was a weird one. But yeah, basically I'm just saying I don't consume any of this content, so I don't get any of it. I don't get Grums on my timeline. I think some of these people, like, I'll sometimes get a hint of something where they think that I know who they are. I have no fucking idea who you are. I don't pay any attention to any of you. Like, I saw someone the other day go, oh, she's definitely gonna block me now. And I was like, I've never heard of you before in my life. Why would I go out of my way to block you, human I don't know and have never heard of? Very strange. The person who said that, I still couldn't tell you what their username was, who they are, or what they do. But anyway, point being, yeah, I don't feel like my YouTube feed is inherently negative. I just know that I guess that's kind of negative. Oh yeah, but again, I'm subscribed to Avatar Obi. He's great. It's mostly, again, like, Gabby is someone that I just recently followed on Instagram. It's like people that I kind of know. I guess the Ludwig video. I know him too, and I know them. Astro Goblin was subscribed to them. Yeah. I'm just saying, as a platform that I don't use, it's not negative. But I do know that if you start going down the negative path, it feeds you that like crazy. Like, it really keeps going on that particular thing. Thank you, Backlog Sam. Okay. Back to the PowerPoint presentation. But also just, yeah, don't engage with the negative content. Again, I've never seen a single negative video about me come up on my own feed. Like, I know they exist. I've never watched one. I could not tell you. Like, I know that, I'm forgetting what his name even is. Some dude made a video calling me a liar. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to remember who he is. I could not tell you what this man looked like if I saw him in the street. Literally, he could come up to me and I would have no fucking idea. I don't know how many views that video has. I don't know how many subscribers his channel has. I have no idea. It's not worth the time. Straight up not worth it. Thank you, Rad Panda Gaming. Just watch the stuff you like. And play video games. That's my whole take. As mobile discovery downloads and revenue stagnated, competition ossified. Great word. The top 3 titles in the US by genre hold 40% of spend. Titles 2+ years old are 70%. That's crazy. I guess I'm doing that kind of recently too. Consider the biggest new game since 2020, Monopoly Go. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Oh, I don't like that at all. Oh. Hit $2 billion in revenue in 11 months, but also spent $500 million on user acquisition. Damn. While the number of smartphone owners has tripled since 2014, as mobile gaming spend, there are fewer mobile games. Oh, that's interesting. We're making less mobile games? Even Call of Duty is struggling to launch new mobile titles. 2024's Warzone is only 30% of the downloads of 2019's mobile after 9 months. Wow. Fortunately, part of Call of Duty Warzone's challenge is that mobile is still thriving, yet this exemplifies the stickiness of aged titles versus newer, better substitutes. With mobile gaming stagnated, I didn't actually realize that was happening. I didn't realize mobile gaming was also stagnating. That's crazy shit. But again, it's social video. We can't fucking compete with social video. How shitty is that? That, like, the market that's being taken away from video games is straight up going to, like, this obviously is a really small part of it, but it is happening. I'll keep saying it's happening. It's fucking happening. A really small part of it is going towards people who just make videos about how much they hate video games. Like, it is literally taking time away from good video games. That fucking sucks. Have you seen ads for Monopoly Go? I don't think I'd even heard of Monopoly Go. Is it just like a mobile Monopoly game? I'm okay with that. Why play a video game when you can watch someone play a video game? That's true too. People like watching other people doing dumb stuff on TikTok, I guess. It's leisure, right? Like, you don't have to make a choice. Like, when you sit down and you go, what video game am I going to play? There's, like, the 1 second in which you have to make a choice is stopping you. What a sad fucking state of mankind. And part of the appeal of TikTok and part of why I, like, staunchly don't use that app, and that I hate really any video scrolling app, any infinitely scrolling video, is you aren't even choosing what content you're going to see. You're not even choosing. You are letting it choose for you and then present it to you. Like, that's part of why they're so popular, is they're, like I said, the second delay before you pick what video game you're going to play is very different when you pick up social video, because you don't even have to fucking think about it. Like, we just can't even do that anymore. Like, I refuse to engage in content that something else has decided for me. If I'm engaging in content, I want to at least choose the content. So I have a problem with, like, most social feeds. I really like Blue Sky. And I'm using that more in terms of browsing because I'm literally just following things I'm interested in and it's giving me them in chronological order. If you go on Twitter or you go on Threads, it is giving you shit that it has decided you should be interested in, and I don't want anything to do with any of that. It really, really bothers me. I want to choose what I want to consume in a day. I want to have a decision about what content I am watching. Like, do we really have to let TikTok decide what we're seeing for an hour? Pick a topic you're interested in and go fucking read about it, please, instead of scrolling TikTok. It's so passive, and again, so difficult to compete with. The enshittification of everything. Totally. What do I use instead? I just don't really use social media very much. You specifically have to select following on Twitter? Yeah, obviously when I'm on Twitter, I will still do that, but a lot of the people I follow have left Twitter. So like, even if they're still there, they like have sock puppet accounts. We were talking about that last night. So just yeah, I just don't really look at social media very much. Is what I do instead. I read books. I'm reading a lot of books at the moment, or I play video games. I hate that. Yeah, you're passively letting an app tell you what you should watch, and you just sit there and you eat it. It's I don't get it, dude. Fucking crazy to me. Crazy. Facing renewed scrutiny over their commissions and policies is also definitely a huge thing that is not happening on social media. Like, that is not happening anywhere near as much as it should. I'm like generally like, I don't know that I trust the government, any government, to regulate social media. But it being effectively completely unregulated is bad. Like, I just don't know what the solution to that is. I love to get off Reddit, but now it's where I get all my news from. I think that's okay. Like, if you're actively looking for news and you're getting news on there, I think that's fine. You know what I mean? Reading gives my brain the much needed break from my phone daily, and I love it. Yeah, I notice you've been reading, Pagan, and that rules. You should. As you should. Book good. Because I even had this thing the other day where somebody, you know how I said I listened to Behind the Bastards? The episode of the podcast, I was cleaning and I was listening to that. Even that podcast, which was very interesting, was literally just taken from a book. So I went and bought the book. Like, I wish the person who had recommended it to me had been like, oh, it's based on this episode of a book, you should read the book. Instead of sending me to the podcast that the book was based on. Even that was still just content that they took directly from a book. Thank you, Xeeks, for the $10. Sorry, I missed that. Take Roblox, the top mobile game ever. For every $100 in player spend, Roblox pays app stores $22, a sum that's all profit for Apple/Google, and loses $35. Crazy. Indeed, Apple and Google will likely net more in profit from mobile game sales than all non-China mobile and non-mobile publishers and platforms combined. Jesus Christ. Google and Apple actually running the games industry. Look at us over here talking about EA and Sony. Actual video game companies. It makes perfect sense why Xbox is doing all the stuff they're doing, is all I'm saying. It makes a lot of sense. Oh, hi, Susie. I stopped socially using Twitter and a few apps. I had to delete them from my phone. It's getting shockingly bad on Twitter, especially. Twitter is a fucking cesspool, 100%. It's been that way for a while. Threads has gotten worse in the last few weeks. I think Threads sucks shit too. You're lucky, Alanah. I keep trying to read, but my mind is too noisy to do it for a long amount of time. I mean, that's totally a thing that I know some people have. I always wonder, though, like, of course, some people just have ADHD and just can't read books. Like, that's absolutely a thing. But I do also wonder how much of that is introduced. Like, have you lost the ability to read books when you previously may have had it? In some cases, again, outside of people who just literally have ADHD. Because you are now so used to receiving swift flashes of information, new TikTok reel, different video, different topic, like, what if you wean yourself off? What if you try to spend less time on apps and more time reading books? Could you force yourself back to being able to read books? Like, have we just fried our attention span so much that, like, some people have trouble reading books now? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's the case or not, but I wonder if, like, if you could pull yourself off of TikTok and Twitter and the constant new topic every 2 fucking seconds, and figure out a way to come back around and just slowly get back into books. I would highly recommend it. Reading used to be my life, and I find it very hard to sit down and read more than 30 minutes at a time now. Why? Because I will also say, People all the time ask me how I have time to get everything done, and I really think my answer to that is that I don't spend as much time on social media as other people. That's why I left Twitter. I stopped using it and my attention span came back. Right? I have the kind of ADHD that makes me scared to read books because I can't stop reading once I start. It becomes a literal compulsion. Okay, I'm actually really bad about that too. I don't have ADHD, but I'm also actually pretty bad about if I start things, I compulsively finish them. Like, I'm bad about that with video games, I'm bad about that with books, and I'm bad about that with work. It is my single worst professional habit. I said that on a stream once, and my manager reached out to me and was like, "Do you need me to help you with that?" And I was like, "Maybe," where I will, like, start something and then finish it instead of sleeping, where I should, in fact, split it across multiple days. I go, but I'm in it, and I get tunnel vision. I'm really bad about that. I haven't yet figured out how to not do that. Am I completionist for video games too? I used to be, but I stopped. Thank God. The only reason people can't read a book is the topic is not interesting, nothing to do with ADHD. Oh, I don't think that's true. I do think there are, like, legitimate cases where ADHD, like, it literally, you have attention deficit disorder, right? Like, it literally prevents you from being able to engage in a single thing like that for a long period of time. But I don't imagine that that is most people. And I do wonder if some people think they have ADHD, but actually have internet brain rot. You know what I mean? Does ADHD exist? Of course, yes. Do some people probably not have ADHD and instead just have brain rot? Probably. You know what I mean? Hyperfixation is a common trait for both autistic people and people who have ADHD. Yeah, so I have autism. I've spoken about that over many years. I came out and said I had autism on the internet before it was cool. You know, before everybody had it. I didn't speak until I was like 12, so it was pretty fucking obvious. It is also, I think, why I get in trouble on the internet a lot, because I take things way too literally, and I have trouble understanding why people get so emotional about shit. But yeah, if you don't get off the phone, then you're admitting to yourself you don't want to be happy. The loop will eventually kick in and make you change your ways. Maybe. Maybe. Annual AR/VR content spend is up from $0 in 2011 to about $1.2 billion today, but this sum remains too small and stagnant to attract much game maker investment. I'm a big VR shill. Shilling for big VR. Huge fan. Have been the whole time. Fucking love it. And though AR/VR devices have improved substantially in performance and form factor, sales are down to flat, especially after accounting for periodic upgrades. That's interesting. Excluding viewers such as Cardboard. Nintendo Labo. AR/VR sales are also way behind forecasts. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Focused on building a general purpose computing platforms versus a gaming console, Meta's Reality Labs has now spent... Wow, that's a lot of money. Damn. The billions spent on each console generation R&D, subsidized console seem to be growing penetration. Nice, that's what she said. Total console content spend is $18 billion higher. Wow. That's interesting. Interesting disparity between software and hardware. Huh. With VR options getting smaller and smaller, I think VR is going to get more and more popular. Yeah, the, what's it called? The new, it's like MetaQuest 3S? I think it's what it's called. Is a cheaper version of the MetaQuest that still has a lot of the features that you would want from MetaQuest. And I believe that sold quite well. That thing's fucking fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, Emotional Support Viking. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I actually, I try not to talk about it on the internet because people will just get, I don't know, I've always felt weird about it. Whatever. I'm not going to go on that train of thought. But thank you for sharing. I'm very glad to hear I could do that. I also love Beat Saber on VR for helping with attention span because I find if my mind deviates a little bit, I fail the level very quickly. That's a really good point. You do have to pay a ton of attention. Didn't the Apple VR project fail miserably, though? Yes. Though that was more AR than VR. And it also is one of those products that was like, I never thought that that Apple VR would succeed because who the fuck was it for? Like, I think I said that when we spoke about it on Play Watch Listen. This is a video game podcast that I do, everybody, with two other game developers, Mike Bithell, video game director, Austin Wintory, video game composer. We talk about the games industry and video game development. I love VR. I've been a part of it since the start. I was one of the people who started the IGN like VR beat. I'm a big fan. I think it's really fucking cool. I still use it all the time. I am literally a hardcore VR user. Play it multiple times a week. You know what I mean? Like I am the VR gamer that they want. I the Apple VR that I'm forgetting the name of was too expensive for me. B, it didn't serve any need that I had. Like Apple Vision, thank you, Jeff. Um, what could it give me that I didn't already have? It just didn't. There was nothing in it that served any need that I had that was not already served by other VR as well. You know what I mean? Would I recommend it for weight loss? Dude, absolutely. I do more cardio workouts in VR than anything else. It's just functionally who was it for? Like sometimes people make a product like that and you're like, who's it fucking for? Whatever happened to HoloLens? I used HoloLens actually a bunch of times. It was really fucking cool. But also functionally useless. Literally what is it for? I bought a MetaQuest 3 a few months ago. I love it. Yeah, they're really great. They're really great. I'm a really big fan of the product. Like I like it a lot. Full disclosure, sorry, I should say, they do sponsor me, but it came around the other way around. Like any of you who followed me for a long time would know that it came the opposite direction. I loved Meta, and then they sponsored me because I love their product so much. Not the other way around. I've said for a while that the original Quest proved the biggest gateway to VR was ease of entry. Dude, when I play stuff on my VR right now, I have it in my little carry case. I travel with it. Like, I take it with me almost everywhere I go because I can work out anyway with it. It's much easier to travel with than a console because you don't need a TV. You just pick it up, plug it in, you fucking turn it on, and then you're playing. Like it, I don't know. They're really great. I'm a big fan. But I get it's not for everyone. I also don't think it was ever going to overtake the core console or PC user base because I think they dramatically underestimated how much people like the comfort of their own living room. I still like playing games on the couch and seeing my dog in the corner. You know what I mean? Like, I still like being in my space. I don't always want to be in VR. It's a different feeling. It's just, it was never going to overtake everything. What's my VR workout app? I've spoken about this at length, but my favorite is Supernatural. It's only available in North America though, and it is expensive. It requires a subscription fee. I really like Lemil's Body Combat. I've been playing a fair bit of that recently. Fit XR is good. Thrill of the Fight is a pretty good boxing game. Aloe is good. That's got like a lot of like yoga and Pilates, and it doesn't require controllers. So they actually have like dumbbell workouts, which is really cool. Like it's a guided trainer dumbbell workout. They do like, yeah, basically like in-app Pilates. It's really, really cool. Yeah, and Beat Saber. Beat Saber I usually use as my warm-up because Beat Saber, you don't have to move your feet, so I don't find it to be as good for cardio. But yeah. VR will fail until every single VR game is compatible with a VR headset. VR's not failing, though. Technically, the whole industry's failing, but it's not failing. So I don't know what you mean by that. MetaQuest 3 has improved AR. The AR is fucking awesome. So Aloe, the one I was talking about that does the Pilates and the yoga, is almost entirely AR. So it like, if you're doing the yoga, you'll have a trainer in front of you in your own living room or wherever it is that you're playing. And then if you have to do something where you look down and like you can't look up to the left of the trainer, it'll give you like a small version of them in front of you so you can still see, which I love because when I was previously doing stuff like yoga on my TV, whenever you're not looking at the TV, you're like, what am I doing? So the VR is really cool in that wherever you're looking, it will place them in front of you. I think it's really cool. Big fan. Yoga's good for you. Out of curiosity, do you have stocks in video game companies? No. Even with more upgrades and replacement buys, total American and European console sales are flat versus a decade ago. Only Japan and ROW materially grew. But the entirety of Gen 6 to 8 console growth in Japan is Nintendo. It makes a lot of sense. Switch mostly benefits Nintendo. Switch users buy 25 to 33% fewer games than... And over half of all sales are Nintendo's games. That's crazy. Nintendo, like, really are making hardware that people just, I mean, that's what I use it for, right? When I'm fucking playing Switch, I'm buying a Nintendo game more often than not, and I'm buying other things. My default is PC. I will buy stuff on console for a living room game. Like, I'm pretty random about my choices. I must be very annoying in terms of video game market to like figure out what I purchase where and why. Nintendo is just a Nintendo machine. The others, I don't even really put that much thought into. Switch's extraordinary sales are, for the most part, not from net new players, but from the cannibalization of two console form factors, living room and handheld. Yeah, that makes sense. I also just think Nintendo, really making a lot of nostalgia money, man. I've bought the same games on Nintendo so many fucking times. I'm never not going to buy every Zelda game. Like, I own every Zelda game on Switch, even though I've owned them before on multiple other platforms. Like, I will not do that for anybody else. That I will just keep buying the same fucking game at full fucking price. God damn Nintendo! Ugh. The decline of handheld revenues also offsets roughly half of living room growth. Combined console is up a more modest 9 billion or 28%. And while Switch 2 is a likely mega hit, Gen 9 PlayStation and Xbox sales are both down versus Gen 8 after 49 months, now a combined 6.8 million shortfall. Wow. PC is a big bright spot, adding 65% more content spend than living room console since, yeah, that's been trending for a while. That PC growth is still pretty healthy. 20 years ago, PC share of non-mobile content spend was 29%, it's now 53%. And while console has stagnated since 2021, PC has grown since 20%. So again, the stuff Xbox is doing, people shit on them for it. I'm not really sure why. Again, because I don't like consume that much, like, I don't consume really any angry gaming content. Maybe there's something I'm missing about why people are angry about this is an Xbox campaign. To me, it's a direct response to every market trend. It makes a lot of sense to me why they're doing it. That's the two-part problem. We keep buying their shit, so then they try less, and Nintendo has never sold hardware at a loss. I completely agree with you, David, that I am part of the problem where Nintendo is concerned. I keep buying their shit. Yes, I'm contributing to the problem. No, I'm not missing anything. They are selling software now? Yeah, Xbox is absolutely like a publisher now. I've also seen more people put PCs in the living room instead of a console. Yeah. Console branding's gotten very confused. Every company sells hardware at a loss, all of them. I mean, that is also true. I think people still don't really realize that most consoles are sold at a loss. Xbox might as well make their next console a stream box. Well, they're just competing for something entirely different now. They're trying to make video game streaming happen, and I fully understand why. I really think all of their strategy is just a response to the market. It makes so much sense. I'm not sure why people are like trying to act like they're dumb for it. It just makes so much sense to me. The only thing I've seen is the price not being sustainable, and they think it will push more devs to create bite-sized games instead of full AAA titles. Yeah, I think that video games have gotten too big. Hot take. So maybe we need some shit to be a little bit smaller. Like I said, stop making them so fucking big. Go back to the 12-hour games. I'm fine with it. Stop making them so fucking large. Because that's part of it is like, this is a conversation I have regularly. And I don't know if that's just an age thing, right? If I'm a 30-year-old, most of my friends are late 20s. Or like somewhere in their 30s, early 40s, right? I regularly have conversations with people who are gamers, work in the games industry, or make gaming content, whatever, who are like, how long is that? That's too long, I can't play it. There are games that we're like opting to not even play anymore because of the length. Like, I will not purchase something even if I'm interested in it because the length is too intimidating. I will play one big RPG per year, every year. Only one. That's exactly what it is, Coburn. Is it because we're adults with jobs? Because I think when I was younger, I loved a longer game. That said, when I was younger, like the games were coming out, like a lot of the ones that I was playing were sustainable lengths. It was like a fucking 10-hour Bioshock. Like, even the first Mass Effect was only like 15 or something hours, right? Like, it wasn't that long. It's just, I think that maybe adults with jobs, like, this market is aging. That is part of the problem. Like, we are people who have jobs and have to make money, like, who have bills, right? We're trying to pay out bills. I can't play multiple really fucking long games every year. And so then the generation that is younger than us that is coming up is playing Roblox. So it's like, seems like a clear win to me. Make shorter fucking games, dude. Like, is that not a thing? Like, I'm sure I could just be being so anecdotal that it's not enough to have a market impact. Like, it's so hard to say. Just from my perspective, I'm more likely to play a game if it's not long. Bring back AA games? Totally. ME1 was definitely longer than 10 hours. Yeah, sorry, I said 15. I thought it was about 15. Mass Effect 1, how long to beat? Point is, it wasn't 100 hours. How long to beat says main story about 17 hours. If you complete everything, 43, but I never did that. So main story about 17 hours. Yeah, I think I finished it the last time that I played it in 15. That's so different to what it would be now. Like, especially because that was an RPG. Even 45's fine. You give me a window of, like, if it's saying, like, average to beat a 17, I think, again, most recent time I played it, I finished it in, like, 12 to 15-ish. 15 to 45 for and that story in that game is fucking fantastic. Fully fleshed out characters. Can we stay there? Instead, now, it's more like 45 to 150. Just take it back. They don't have to be that fucking long. These games are too fucking long. Driving me crazy. Just make them shorter. I feel like larger games often become sprawling and unfocused. Also true. I mean, again, the RPG I played last year was Dragon's Dogma 2. I am excited now to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm really looking forward to that. I spent like 75 hours on Dragon's Dogma 2. And that's my one for the year. I can't do multiple. I just won't play them. So like I feel like the market appeal of long video games is not really there anymore. And again, like if I'm technically in the core market, people 25 to 35 are like the people that they want to buy video games. I'm in that market. That is, you are the people who they make video games for, is the 25 to 35s. The people who are coming up under us into that bracket as like that, the people who are in it now age out of it are fucking playing Roblox. What if Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC comes out this year? I loved Dark Arisen. If there's DLC for Dragon's Dogma 2, I probably won't play it. I'm not really a DLC person either. I don't usually even buy DLC. Maybe. Would depend how much there's going on. Anyway. Existing PC advantages. Much larger library. Larger social graph. Ability to multitask. Yeah. Lower entry price point. Greater competitive compatibility. Ability to play nearly every early access title in early access. Intensifying advantages. More annual game releases. That's certainly true. There's so many games. So many games. PlayStation now releases its exclusives on PC. Xbox does with all titles. I'm okay with the PC superiority. I'm totally cool with that. Me and my beautiful PC over here. Even with 2021 to 2024 store console/PC spend grew 4.5% annually, short of mobile's 12%, which was powered by billions of new players, but still healthy. Steam's consolidation of PC gamers provides insight into who is driving the category growth. Ooh, interesting. Largely Chinese. The larger share of Steam users now use Chinese as their default client language, which probably underrepresents China's total share of Steam users. It makes sense. They're a huge population. That's why I'm saying I think especially with like the success of Black Myth Wukong, which again, that game, like I like will shout this from the rooftops the same way that like I feel about Guerrilla going from making the games they were to making Horizon. Like they made that game with virtually no experience. Like they had mobile experience. That is so promising for that market. That game is very good. And there are so many developers in China who have actually already worked on Western games. They're a massive outsourcing. It's not surprising to anybody. A lot of artists who've worked on The Last of Us Part 2 were from Chinese studios. It's already a huge fucking thing. So we've already got literal Western AAA experience. The quality that people know and love from the popular AAA games that come out of the US are actually in no small part worked on by Chinese devs. And now that that market is booming and there is more appeal for on Steam itself, there are just going to be way more, I think, Chinese devs who come from those outsourcing houses and from mobile dev, like the Black Myth Wukong team, who are going to make really good AAA Chinese games. I actually think that's super exciting. We'll get some really, really cool stuff out of that. Again, and it's from the same people who've worked on the games that you know and love already anyway. Very cool. CCU affirm Apex role in... That's technically Australia, Asia Pacific. Steam user grows CCU peak when America sleeps and China gets home, and bottom when America's off work but China is at work. Yeah. China's playing more video games. I mean, there's a lot more people, so it makes sense. Since 2011, consumer video game spend in China has grown by 39 billion, roughly a third of global growth. Damn. Only 20% of China's domestic spend goes to foreign titles, many of which are banned. That's also obviously a problem, yeah. That the Chinese market actually can't even access a lot of Western video games because they're banned. Like, Game for Peace. PUBG was banned, so they released Game for Peace. Literally what it's called, not a joke, in China. Which I guess is probably a good counter to what I'm saying about a lot of good video games coming out of China. Is part of the problem is that they do have a lot of censorship. So it's like you won't have the same freedom that you will have from AAA studios. There is a lot more censorship from Chinese studios. They will probably have a lot of artistic limitations. And AAA games from China and for China are now achieving sales figures in China that challenge worldwide sales of the most acclaimed Western titles. Mostly cool with it. What's different about Game for Peace and PUBG? Game for Peace, you don't die, and you, like... I don't remember. It's funny, though. Isn't Mortal Kombat banned in China? I think a lot of games are banned in China. Like... anything with extreme violence. I mean, the list of like that would probably be a separate stream, but it's there's a significant amount of censorship. China's exports are soaring. Genshin is one of the few titles to gross over 9 billion. Almost half was outside China. Marvel Rivals is now one of the biggest releases in years. Path of Exile 2 was partly made in New Zealand? Is that what that's saying? Or is that... I think that's what that's saying. I didn't even know that. Altogether, China's developers have grown their share of non-China content spend. Mostly great with it. Mostly excited about that. And so total growth for non-Chinese developers since 2011 is less than headlines suggest. Mobile added 41 billion, not 83 billion, while console/PC grew. And while China is the largest, most mature and regulated non-Western market, it's no outlier. The most played AAA titles worldwide are Korean and Singaporean. Makes sense. These non-Western titles strive partly because of focusing on lower device specifications, which is the thing that I keep talking about. It's accessibility and lower device specifications. It means I mean, that's just a different version of accessibility, but also by investing in and prioritizing different cultural events and tones. Yeah, I'm getting old. I hate this. This is just so much noise on these things. It's so much neon and so much noise. Fortnite, Ariana Grande. Kill me, shoot me in the face. I don't want this at all. Whoa, thank you to Anonymous for the $500 donation. Oh, no, sorry, that was top donation. I thought it just came through. Still thank you, but that was a while ago. My bad. Just stop giving me so much information. Winterfest, Fortnite, Battle Royale. Kill me, shoot me in the face. As foreign markets grow, their domestic production capabilities and supply grow too, and this always results in national preference then shifting to local product. The films that now top the Chinese box office are not just made in China, they are fundamentally of China and for Chinese audiences. Makes a lot of sense. This is the same as the way Bollywood operates, right? I'm surprised that wasn't happening prior, to be honest. As Nollywood has developed, Nigerian-made films, including those released during COVID, toppled former chart toppers like Avengers. I mean, this is sick. They have stuff that's locally made for the people in those countries is surpassing Hollywood. I feel very positively about that, personally. India has always had a strong domestic film industry. As a result, only 3 of the 50 highest-grossing films of all time come from outside Bollywood. That's fucking crazy. And so for console/PC continue to grow primarily through APAC/RAL, there will be more Garena's, Game Science's, MiHoYo's, and they'll take share in the West too. Also cool with that. Without many new players, console/PC growth relies on pricing, yet publishers struggle to keep them. Each decade, package prices fall 10/20% in real terms. In nearly all media categories, consumers expect and digest annual inflation adjustments. Yeah, this is a really, really interesting one. Like, Netflix is adjusting with price hikes all the time. YouTube is adjusting with price hikes. Concert tickets, movie tickets have all increased adjusted to inflation. Video games don't do that. Package prices matter less given DLC, MTX, live services, which raised the spend ceiling, yet real spending has only grown modestly despite these innovations. So, like, I've tried to argue against this for a long time because I think video games make too much fucking money and consumers should not have to foot the bill for Bobby Kotick's multi-million-dollar fucking bonus. But also that's naive and not realistic. I'm aware of that. Like, I have been on the consumer side for a very long time of we shouldn't have to pay more to play video games while you fuckers get rich. The people who aren't even making the games are getting rich. That sucks. But also, again, it's not realistic. These things have not adjusted for inflation. The billionaire CEOs are going to continue to get their $1 million bonuses. They're not going to change that. Realistically, if every other industry is doing it, video game prices probably do need to increase. It is probably about time that it happens. I will admit defeat on that. What are we going to do about it? I'm tired of having to use 3 streaming services. Yeah, I don't do that either. To be clear. I'm a real weird market anomaly. I only have a Netflix subscription, and even then, don't use it that often. Isn't piracy up as a result of Netflix no longer being one-stop shop? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Money attracts money, rich CEOs never lose out. Ain't that the truth? It's just, it sucks. I find it very annoying. But it's also one of those ones that I'm like, you're screaming into the void. Like, fuck you. Take cuts on your bonuses instead of increasing the price of video games. Great. Literally, what are they going to do? Like, is that going to change? No! If wages don't increase with those prices, people are going to eventually not be able to afford the game/services. I said this also on Play, Watch, Listen. Hot take. I think marketing has become so pervasive that even if people can't afford it, I think that they will still buy GTA at $100. We are so entertainment obsessed, human beings, that I think people legitimately will choose GTA over food in a lot of cases. I know that's insane. Not other games, no. Certainly specific to something like GTA. We are indeed all GTA pilled, myself included. Never played a GTA game? You've never played a GTA game? Have you played Red Dead? Have you ever played a Rockstar game? That's crazy. GTA usually gives you more bang for your buck. It makes it worth it. I mean, yeah, they're the most expensive games ever made every time. Base game will be $70 and the 120 version will come 5 days early access and everyone will buy it. I mean, that's still just a rumor, right? But fucking, I'll spend all the money in the world on fucking GTA, dude. I am part of the problem there. particularly. Even though, again, the problem really is social video. The CEOs make too much money, okay? Can we just all acknowledge they make too much fucking money? I really think social video is a huge problem. It's also, there are so many challenges with the AAA games that people say that they want. Now, people are like looking at their phones during a cutscene, or they go a week in between playing something. It's what makes video game writing so hard. You have to cater to people who may have no idea what's happened because they haven't played the game in 2 weeks. So you have to like overwrite everything. It's like, it's a very specific challenge. Studios are inexpensive places to live and operate. Yeah, but that's because the people who've gone to school to study the thing that they care about are usually already in those places, right? The internships. That's where they've gone to study. The people who are more hireable tend to live in bustling cities. But yes, the cost of video games is really about salaries. Yeah, it makes it harder to jump back into a game the longer you go because you know you're going to be lost. Right, so like retention is also down because our attention spans are split 1,000 ways. And so if you've played something and then you've jumped off and you've, you know, looked at 10,000 news stories on TikTok and then you go, oh, I should get back to that video game. It's intimidating a week later. Just make video games shorter. I really feel like I wish that they would just fucking scale down, son. There are few explanations for video gaming's inability to maintain inflation-adjusted prices, let alone grow them, and many are unique to the category. They are certainly unique to the category. Yeah, they're not increasing in line with inflation is a really, really interesting video game problem when everyone else is doing it. After 40 years with $10 increases every other generation every 15 years, that is, game prices are quite sticky and heavily scrutinized. So it's like it's just a trend that's already happened. Publishers lose billions annually in private game trade, sales, and piracy, and know that any price hike on packaged sales will spark more of this behavior, thereby cannibalizing the benefit of the price hike. A really good point. The most popular and profitable games globally are typically free-to-play. This makes it difficult for rival games to push up pricing while reducing the incentives of the market leaders. DLC tends to have far better economics than base game, but requires upfront sales first. As such, publishers are reluctant to high speed. This is a very interesting slide. All factors, like a lot of these that I hadn't considered. Reports suggest that between 33 to 50% of AAA gamers skewing to PC gamers wait until games are on sale before purchasing. Wow. I mean, obviously it's different for me because it's the industry that I work in rather than just something I consume. I will buy games day one, even if I know I'm not going to play them day one. Common misconception, everybody. Don't believe what you read on Twitter. I almost never accept game codes. Very, very rarely do I take a game code for anything. I largely buy everything. While movies, albums, books, TV series at all do not have variable pricing by title or budget, many games do release at $20 to $50. Yeah. This is a really interesting slide. All great points. Most CEOs don't make as much as Bobby Kotick. Obviously, I know that, but 300 devs, if you average to 100K a year, is still $30 million a year, and almost all AAA devs make a good bit more. Well, fun fact, I've said this publicly before. Did you know that I took a pay cut to work in AAA game development? I made more money working at Rooster Teeth than I made working at Sony Santa Monica Studio. I did not make $100,000 a year working at Sony Santa Monica Studio. It was worth it. I loved my job. Really loved my job. Very glad to work there. But I think people overestimate how much money AAA game devs make. I was not making $100,000 a year. It's not, yeah, it's not as much as you all think it is. Oh, hey, Del. Was that because it was a junior position or not? I was a junior for a year and then I was promoted. So my last 3 years, I was not a junior. No. I was not making $100,000 a year, and I was not a junior. And I'm not complaining about that, to be fair. This is not me complaining, not me being like, oh, I should have been making $100,000 a year. I don't feel that way. I was a writer on a team full of writers, you know what I mean? But I think the perception is wrong. Like, remember, what was it, like 2 streams ago? That someone, I was like, I'm not a millionaire, and someone was like, you're really not a millionaire? I was like, are you joking? Do you think, did you really think I was a millionaire? No. Many devs also just don't seem to know when to stop increasing the scope of their games. Everything has to always be bigger and better than the last one. Compared to other devs like RGG or Obsidian, who seem pretty happy with specific scope, their games have a very consistent output of their games. Tavia, do you work in game development? Everything always has to be bigger and better than the last one is not so much a game dev problem, that is more of a marketing thing. And I would say scope is very difficult, but not in the way that you wrote it. Like, many devs also just don't seem to know when to stop increasing the scope of their games, I would say is inaccurate. That is not an accurate sentence. Scope can be something that you accidentally do, but it's not like they don't know when not to. You know what I mean? I asked ChatGPT your net worth and it said 3.5 to 5 million. Again, I don't even have $100,000. $1 million? It's so stupid. You know, it's actually insane. 100K is around what's needed to live comfortably in this country with how expensive literally. Certainly in LA. Scope for us is usually dictated more so by people on the business or product side. Okay, I would say, like, yeah, I don't disagree. A lot of that is business dictated, but scope can get out of control when people are just excited to make something and then it kind of tumbles. But like, you're always having conversations about scope. Like, the people who make video games aren't dumb. Speaking from personal experience, moving development to lower income countries is good for games and for the devs there. I'm in such a country and make less than half I'd make in the USA, but I get to take home a more disposable income, and that goes a much longer way than where I live in the USA. I don't disagree. I'm completely on board with video game development being global and globally accessible. Right? Like, aren't I a perfect example of that? I just left a job that I really loved at a AAA game studio, who I still adore. I've had many conversations with people I work with over the weekend. Like, people who've just called me and just from that studio and been wonderful. And, you know, even on one of those phone calls with the fucking EP at Sony Santa Monica, she was like, you know, if you come back one day, I wouldn't even doubt that I do. But I just left that job at a place I loved, a job I loved, literally so that I could go places. So I could spend more time at home. I literally just myself did that. So I could spend more time in Australia. So I could be with my family more on a different time zone. I am very on board with video game development being more global and more accessible. Alanah, how does anybody in games and showbiz afford to live in California? Wages aren't great. It seems like a lot of people, like, live in apartments or with roommates, really is the answer. Yeah, if you have less than 100K saved up, it certainly was a big risk to quit your job. I don't have a fucking 100K saved up, and I quit my job, so... You're not wrong, but yeah, I think that maybe people overestimate how much game devs get paid. Was it not your dream job anymore, or was it never? No, it was still my dream job. And it still is my dream job. I still can't believe I got to do that for a living. That didn't change. I just, spoken about this a million times at this point. I wanted to be able to spend more time with my family after my stepdad died. It just put things in a perspective of... I still can't fucking talk about this without crying. Sorry. I thought I'd be okay. It's been like... Okay, I was gonna be like, it's been months. It's only been 2 months since he died, to be fair. Sorry, I still can't do it. It's too hard to talk about. It sucks. Sorry. It's like you can forget it most of the time, but when I say it out loud, it's always very hard. Sorry. Stupid. We're not talking about that. I'm not talking about it anymore. I don't want to cry on the internet all the time because somebody died. It happens. I'm sorry. cry. Let me have some water. Also not the fault of the person who asked that question. You didn't ask anything about that. That's me. I just still can't talk about it, obviously. I had this crazy thing that happened when the fires hit. I don't remember if I said that last week. Where, my stepdad would always be the first person to text me if there was an earthquake, because he was, like, so plugged into the news. And I just got, like, really fucking sad that I didn't get that text. Like, what a crazy thing to be sad about. Like, you just don't think about it until it happens. But I was like, oh, he didn't text me and ask if I was okay because he can't. It's just rough. Okay, sorry. This is stupid. I'm just gonna go wipe my eyes and then I'll be back. I'm gonna pretend this didn't happen. It snuck up on me and it happens. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go wipe my face. I'm fine. Thank you. Sorry. Sorry. I'm fine. That one snuck up on me. It happens. My bad. Didn't expect it to. Sorry about that. Okay. Video games is what we were talking about. I apologize. We're talking about video games. Things that would never make us cry. I can't not say sorry. It feels, even though I know it's human, it feels very like it should be private, which is stupid because I encourage people to cry publicly. Whatever. I'm sorry regardless for that. Back to the slides. Whereas console PC is experiencing ongoing engagement decreases, even so-called hardcore gamers are increasingly shifting time to other forms of leisure. Like I said, not even remotely surprising. We are losing gamers. The AA/AAA segment's player time and pricing struggles are a surprise. Who wouldn't have bet on high-fidelity gaming if they'd seen the games of 2024 and 1994? I also kind of think the games industry's bet on high-fidelity gaming is not really paying off. Like, they really seemed to be so sure that graphics would sell video games. It's not a thing I've ever really cared about. Yes, Dell, these are publicly available. We spoke about them on Play, Watch, Listen this week. It's here. And I would highly recommend looking through the whole thing. It's really, really good. Obviously, this is just what we're doing this whole stream at this point. I was going to talk about some of the AI Elon v. Trump news as well, but this is what we're going over now. Oh, yeah, thank you so much, Jeff. It's also pinned. Yeah, there are 200 of them. I'm obviously taking my time going through it, but it's Austin was the one who got me onto this. We spoke about it a little on Play, Watch, Listen this week. It is good stuff. Yeah, I don't know that the graphical fidelity thing was anywhere as near as important as I feel like people banked on. It used to be able to sell things, but when we kind of like got to a point where there were diminishing returns, it's no longer a selling point anymore. I've always been this way, that I care far more about style than I do about graphics. To an extent. I think like Pokemon is the exception. Like, you can tell that those recent Pokemon games were stylish, but the graphics were holding them back, and so they just looked like ass. But that is like because they kind of conflicted with one another, so yeah. Fortunately, improvements in game fidelity, scale, and capability had led to a massive increase in the resources required to build such a game. File size is fucking out of control. Average credits per AAA open world game. That also makes sense. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's with a crediting problem. The games industry has a massive crediting problem. Like, if this is like gotten to over 4,000, realistically, it's more than 5,000. Like, people are not credited on video games appropriately. We don't have a union. It's not good. Franchises that cost 50 million per title only 15 years ago now run 200 to 500 million or more to develop, and costs are still growing. Make video games smaller! Thank you, DAHC. Yakuza rules. If I can bring you into Yakuza, I feel very happy about that. I feel like graphics aren't that important, but graphical increases are also a sign of other advances like physics and AI. Totally. Yeah, you're totally right. You're not wrong about that. To quote Destin, gameplay is king. I mean, I've always been that way. I've actually, hilariously, as a video game writer, I've always been more of a gameplay person than a story person, even. Gameplay is king is a little too broad for me. I think design is king. What makes or breaks video games for me personally, like the thing that sets apart games that I fucking adore and games that I like, is actually in a lot of cases level design. But narrative design is also a huge thing that the industry is like just recently kind of taking more seriously. But I think design is fundamentally really important. Like the design of Outer Wilds, I would say, is king, not the gameplay. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry, I'm just being semantic there. Sorry, you get autismed. Inflation also hit 20-plus year highs and surged at the pace not seen in 40 years, leading to unanticipated debt costs and colas that have grown budgets another 10%. I think Reggie said it best: if it's not fun, why bother? Again, semantics. I got opinions on fun, okay? Is Papers, Please fun? Beautifully designed game. Is it fun? Do you have fun playing Papers, Please? You know what I mean? I don't think it's fun. Last of Us isn't fun, but great. I think that's a good point. Not fun, but great. Paperboy. No, I'm saying Papers, Please. Mobile game. Papers, Please. Check it out. It's probably very cheap. I think anybody who's playing Papers, Please and having fun is a psychopath. No, it's not fun. Obra Dinn is fun. I do think you are having fun. No. Nope. Papers, Please isn't fun. It's fantastic and it's entertaining and I like playing it. It started as mobile? No, I don't think it started as mobile, but it's been available on like iPad forever. I think it came out on PC first and then on mobile. Did I not have a good time? Define good time. Did I have a good time playing Papers, Please? Balatro is fun. We'll give it that. Whatever. That semantics. Sorry. What if someone just really enjoys being a customs officer? Yeah, they're fucking insane. Walking Dead Season 1 isn't fun. That one's sort of fun. It can be sad and brutal and fun at the same time. Papers, Please just stress me out. It's like, hey, I just got off work. I don't need this. That's what I'm saying. Papers, Please isn't fun. Fantastic. Great. You should play it. Not fun. It's not fun. What else is growing faster than gamers or spend? The supply of games. Yeah, that's also obviously a huge thing. There are so many fucking video games. It's part of why I like... You know, people who say, like, all video games are shit? There are so many games, including good ones, that you probably don't even have time to finish them in a year. If you think all games are shit, you're looking in the wrong places. There are so many video games. So many of them are so good. If you keep eating shit and then you think everything tastes like shit, just stop eating shit. Inscription is fun, you're right. Inscription fucking rules. Play Inscription. Play Papers, Please. In total, industry-wide content development spend has surged 90%, 1.6 times the rate of consumer spend growth. With higher budgets and more competition, yet fewer new players, dollars or hours, competitions become more zero-sum than ever, and break-evens even rare. So realistically, we should probably have fewer game releases. Just make less of them. Make less of them. I don't know if I agree with myself on that. I don't think I do. I take it back. I don't agree with myself on that. Don't make less of them. Make them smaller. And of course, new releases exist in a market where many of the top games release annually, even quarterly updates. Right? Yeah. You're competing with Call of Duty and FIFA annually. It's a great point. People will keep buying those games over and over again. And the top games in a given year, well, they're almost always the top games in any given year. You can't fucking compete with Call of Duty, 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 Call of Duty. Madden. It's so funny. GTA just never leaves. Like, I'm like, always like, who's buying GTA? What people are left alive to buy this fucking game? It's so much Call of Duty, dude, and so much Madden or EA Sports FC. So much FIFA. They really dominate so much of the market. It's crazy. Those are games that I, as someone who plays a shit ton of video games, don't even touch. And they are what most gamers are playing. The Mirror's Assassin's Creed Red looking really good, and the criticism's a bit too much. I actually did want to get onto the Assassin's Creed Shadow previews, because yes, I'm actually feeling a bit more positively about that game now. Because some of it looks really cool, but then I got slideshowed. Hogwarts sold that well. Hogwarts sold really, really well. Yeah, super well. Which is not surprising. Harry Potter's like one of the biggest IP. It's fucking huge. And I loved the Harry Potter games on PC. Back in the day, the Chamber of Secrets, my sister and I played the shit out of that when I was a wee child. But it's been a long time since they had one of those. And I was really excited about that game initially. I think it ended up being an okay video game. It's a little directionless, but I always feel like probably the sequel will be a very good game. But also it was being boycotted, proof they don't work. Boycotts absolutely don't work. You should run for president? I'm not a citizen. And also, definitely you should not vote for me. That would be a really bad idea. Steam is best in class for game discovery. Still 80% of 2024's 19,000 game releases didn't qualify for Steam's full social feature functionality. Wow. That's super interesting. Don't even have 5K in sales. In fact, 150 fewer Steam new releases grossed $100,000 in 2024 than in 2016, even though users are up 250, new releases over 300%, and user spend up 200%. Wow. Damn. Steam users play only 4 games a year, with games 8+ year old getting 40% of total playtime. Counter-Strike, dude. I mean, a lot of these older games are probably old multiplayer games, right? And among the thousands of annual releases fighting for 12% of playtime, number 1 gets 20% of sales, and number 1 to 10 takes 60%. Damn. Crazy. In total, the same 5 franchises on PC, which is 6 to 22 years old, have averaged 30% of playtime for 4 years straight on PlayStation/Xbox. A stunning 43%. Yeah. Look at that. The big 5. Look at the fucking market share. And all other games combined. That's crazy. The money that Call of Duty, FIFA, Fortnite, and NBA make... I mean, GTA, even that, it's GTA Online, isn't it, really? Which, like, I'm not going to defend. I love GTA. GTA Online is just shark cards. That's insane. Like, basically, these things have become so big that they are cannibalizing the entire rest of the industry. Again, it's about player time, player spend. These are just fucking chewing up all video games. We are competing with not only these fuckers... Oh... Devastating. Excluding annual releases, but including sequels, only 6.5% of game time in 2023 was for new games. That doesn't really surprise me. Games released in 2022, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok. Well, Ragnarok's a sequel, obviously. Man, this is interesting. Interesting stuff. Have I ever checked out any GTA RP? I watched a little bit of it, but very, very little, just like from when I was rating people who were doing it. It's super interesting, though. Really, really interesting. Tens of billions in development, marketing, investment, and thousands of dollars of games competed for that 6.5% of total player hours. Damn. And it was all Diablo as a service game. Hogwarts is a huge IP. Baldur's Gate 3, that is the biggest win of all. And Starfield in there too. Damn. Black Hole Games refers to a phenomenon whereby a massive franchise title has such a hold on players that it's nearly impossible for a new game to pull them away. We already knew that. Behind Black Hole Games is not just Metcalfe's law, the value of a network is quadratic function, but we're getting real nerdy in here. As black holes strengthen, supply grows, but players stagnate. Even the best franchises often face falling sales, but higher budgets across successive releases. It's easy to argue that sequel budget should be lower given the uncertainty of matching, let alone growing the sales approach. That's actually a really good point. Sequel budgets probably should be lower, but certainly aren't. It does actually make sense. But it's not easy to convince those who skipped or didn't finish a game to spend $70 on a sequel, or earn another $70.25 hours from those who did. And building a richer, deeper, and more expensive game is a natural response to a market that competes for increasingly scarce players. Yeah, it's a good point. Like, obviously, you want to be able to say, it's bigger, it's better, look, there's even more of it when there aren't enough fucking players. That obviously is why my just make smaller games doesn't work. To endure, live service titles need to replace a user's existing weekly to daily habit, which makes a feature/content light launch an even greater challenge. Even at that cultural peak, many would-be GAAS leaders have fewer players than long-running games as service leaders, averaged over 4+ years. Wow. Fucking Counter-Strike. I knew, but I didn't know it was popping off that hard for that long. God damn. Dota 2 doesn't surprise me. PUBG, I'm actually surprised that it still has a big tail on it. I thought that had kind of died down. And after a hit launch, a new title must sustain against market leaders, powered by extraordinarily effective, profitable, and substantial releases and infrastructure. Yeah. Fucking Call of Duty, dude. I do remember, I once went to a party when I was, I just started working in games writing, back when I was in Australia writing for magazines or whatever. And, I met people who, at this party who were gamers, and I was like, oh, cool, what kind of games do you play? And they just said FIFA and COD, and I thought that they were joking. I was like, oh, no, what do you really play? And they were like, what do you play? And I was like, oh, they're real. Oh, the FIFA COD bros are real, and they're out here. And I was like, oh no, disgusting. Obviously not that I really feel that way. My boyfriend plays a lot of FIFA and COD, to be clear. He does also play loads of other shit, though. Raul's currently playing Ninja Gaiden, which is cool because he never played it before. Still. With rising costs of support, shrinking player bases, and strengthening black holes, new live service titles are forced to call it quits earlier than ever. Yeah, the cancellation's coming faster than they ever had before. People are really doom and glooming that, but the shrinking player base is a really tough thing to come around. What are we supposed to do about people not playing video games because they're on social media too much? What are we supposed to do? Make better video games literally does not solve this problem. So, what's going on in a sentence? The exhaustion of decade-plus growth drivers that grew players' playtime and spend coincided with evolving user behaviors, changing monetization models, and growing lock-in effects that exasperated long-running competitive and budgetary escalations, while growth concentrated in foreign markets that shifted to local productions and then took share abroad, and occurred alongside acute macroeconomic financial events and epidemics were worsened by microeconomic platforms' policy shifts, as well as the emergence of new and hyperviral substitutes and foreign-based competition, alongside too many would-be new growth drivers that have yet to deliver growth. There we go, everybody. We figured it out. We've solved it. What's wrong with video games? Add social media to games, game set match? No, don't do that. Don't do it. You thought your Twitch changed channels? I'll take that as a compliment, thank you. Yeah, I'm a great actor. say with sarcasm. The confluence of factors explains why the market stagnated, not just fell so very short of external and not publicly available internal forecasts. And why so many titles have missed internal expectations or even their production costs. And why so many game makers reevaluated their development pipelines. And why venture capitalists have retreated. Why PlayStation, a platform with 100 million MAU and I don't know what MAU is. MAU. No, don't know. Has seen revenue grow 67% since 2019, but profits fall by 6%. And employees suffered 3 straight years of record layoffs. Again, it's still happening. Prompting nearly every platform and publisher to start aggressively pursuing customers on every channel. Yeah. It makes sense, bro. Square Enix said, we will now aggressively pursue a multi-plat strategy that includes Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs. Yeah, I guess like from the marketing team's perspectives, right? This is literally just like there is a desperate grovel to get more players. But again, I don't know how they even do it. When you're competing with social media, how do you do it? The algorithm is too smart. I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Emotional Support Viking. Appreciate you. I believe you mentioned you love Professor Layton games. I do. So try Level 5's Dark Cloud 2/Dark Chronicle, my favorite game. I haven't even heard of that. I don't believe you. It sounds like it takes 100 hours to complete. How dare you? I wonder if there's anything I can do that would help this problem. Like I actively don't make commentary on or participate in any of the Grifter War stuff. I do think that that is actively hurting video games and the good kind of video games. It doesn't help. It just makes people mad. It makes them pay more attention to social media rather than playing cool video games that they like. Like, does giving away game codes help more? I had to log in to express my hatred of the phrase just make good video games. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not a solution. You are a starring character? Well, thank you. I mean, thanks for all the great content. Have you ever thought about starting a small indie games company? Thank you, Megaboss. I am 1/3 of a small indie games company. Check out Layers Deep, everybody. Wishlist us on Steam. I need to reach back out to them about the meeting we need to have this week. Related to that, we gotta have a catch up. Anyone who makes you laugh gets a game code. That is the thing I'm doing, but that can't make me make people play more games. Simple answer is people have to stop absorbing that content, but how do you stop that? That's part of the problem, is like when people are constantly absorbing the like rage baity shit heap content, they also feel like they're participating in games, but they're not. Like they feel like they're gamers, but they're not fucking playing shit. They're just like, I don't know. I don't know how you get people off that pipeline. That's why I just don't pay attention to it. Like, even if you're like, oh, this person said this, what do you think? I'll be like, don't, just completely ignore it. Play good video games. Let the video game industry burn. It's been awful, stagnant shit for too long. The only good game releases in the past 10 years have been smaller scale indie dev projects. Okay. Okay. Like, this man doesn't give a shit about Baldur's Gate 3 or Elden Ring, apparently. Very good videos and games have come out. Hello, Ratulence. I don't think this is a thing for the games industry to fix specifically. I also disagree that making good games doesn't move. Good games do distract from doom scrolling a lot. But they functionally don't. The quality of the games doesn't matter. It's about retention and time. Like, that's basically what this whole thing is telling us. That you're competing with black hole games like Call of Duty and FIFA. The players who are playing those games can't be pulled away from them. Like, black hole games, black hole is such a good word for it. They're black holes. There's nothing you can do about it. And competing with social media, it's so inherently addictive and manipulative in how addictive it is, that's what video games are competing with now. You can make the best game in the world. It's not going to make people buy it or play it. There are so many good games that come out. Like, when I did the Game of the Year stream that I did late last year, there were what, like 20 people who were a part of that? Every single person had a different pick for game of the year, except for like there were maybe 2 double ups, which is Astrobot and Final Fantasy. There are a lot of fucking good games out there. It doesn't solve the problem. You're competing with aggressive social media algorithms that are far too easy to pick up. There are more games than ever, and the black hole games are too strong. I don't think Make Better Video Game fixes this. Like I don't know what the solution is. Alan Wake 2, for example, amazing game. Nobody played it. Yeah, Alan Wake 2 is fucking great. It's not only rage bait videos, I think, taking market share. I tend to watch more video game content than playing games. It's also true. It's a good point. It's not actually just the rage bait content that's taking market share. It's everything, really. I think people are black holing themselves more these days because things are bleak. True. Like, not only is it that, like, FIFA's fucking ultimate team system like makes you like same as Call of Duty, you feel FOMO, like people feel like they have to participate every year because all their friends are participating, so they all have to participate. It's also comfort. It's familiar. It's a thing you know. It's kind of easy for you to play and like disengage. That is also a thing. Bad hot take, we need another crash so those black holes die. Genuinely, maybe. Maybe we need a crash. And it is happening. Here we go. How can the video game industry return to growth rather than just fight over the same players' hours and spend? Great question. Without new growth cycles, the video gaming market is stuck in a vicious cycle. Stagnant, falling profits, less investment, fewer games, fewer hits, no to low player, yeah. Okay, well, maybe I should have just kept scrolling. It's important to recognize that while low growth is a challenge for everyone, especially the largest players, new studios and franchises are emerging. I played and enjoyed this. I played and enjoyed this. Gorilla Tag's really fun. I played and enjoyed this. I played and enjoyed this. I played and thought that was okay. I did, my patrons did make me play this, and I did have a good time playing it with them. Oh, and Helldivers 2 rules. So, I didn't realize Gorilla Tag was solo dev. That's sick. Second, there are a few potential growth engines that are argued and in sight. Non-core markets is a big one. Trying to get people who aren't gamers to start playing video games is definitely a thing. New game genres? Sort of. I mean, that's happened a little. Social game services. Yeah. Switch 2. Crazy that they think Switch 2 will be that big. GTA 6 pricing. It's crazy. The whole industry's fucking riding on GTA, dude. We're all just like, please, God, fix everything. Oh, crazy. I can't fucking wait for that game. I will shill for Rockstar till the end of time. Reviewing the new... Okay, so non-core markets. As was the case with China, the global maturation of local/regional content studios is likely to substantially accelerate spending growth in those same markets. This looks like a flag. So yeah. External markets. Helpful. Love that. Especially considering, like, the amount of them, like, maybe there's a world where, you know, the player bases that are really on mobile, which, like, is definitely a thing in India, China, Japan, and Korea, maybe they can be pulled to PC gaming. Maybe those markets can start gaming on PC. That sounds good. Like the sound of that. Honestly, I'd rather just have games that were less expensive to make. Here's the thing about, like, Dell, I'd love to hear your take on this too. For anyone who doesn't know, Dell, also game dev, recently just started working at a new studio. Congratulations. There is a thing with games being less expensive to make. That basically, when games are less expensive to make, it means that they've been worked on for a shorter amount of time. I will also say, from a game dev perspective, working on something for that many years also sucks. Like, at a certain point, you get sick of working and iterating on the same thing, and you just want the thing to be out. So I also feel like game devs would probably be more creatively inspired. You would be able to take more risk and potentially innovate more, because if you're working on something for fucking as many years as it takes to make a AAA game now, you get tired, you get bored, and you kind of like... Thank you, Water Show. Welcome. you get stuck in there are so many bits and pieces of the game that are being made at any one given time that you get stuck in this kind of hole of like not it's tough to even try and pass any innovation because the beast is too big and you can't interject a new idea, which is much easier to do when something is in pre-production or even in like early production. As a game dev who've been laid off, I agree with you. I'm so sorry that you got laid off. Doing that same thing that long must sap your creativity. Exactly. Like it can just be way too long. Like I think games being cheaper, again, literally really just means less people working on it for less time. And I feel like there are huge benefits to that also for creativity and for game quality. Just make them fucking smaller. Best thing to do as a developer is make your own game. You get to be the game designer. That ain't true. That's not the best thing to do as a developer. There are so many potential failures in there too. So many risks there. I think that games turning into social platforms is one of the ways forward for competition against normal social media platforms. Well, Call of Duty's kind of already done that. Like, it's sort of a social platform. It's a hub now. Dell said you can't even tell whether the game is good or not anymore after the 4th year. It happened for me earlier than that. You've looked at it for too long in isolation and it's almost never worth it. I hope to never experience a 5-year game again, but who knows. For sure. Or do the Haze Light type of game where it must be challenging to come up with so many different gameplay scenarios. Dude, that studio are so impressive to me. I do not feel like even if you aren't into the kind of games that Haze Light make, they are so fucking impressive. The amount of creativity that they have in their games and the fact that they execute on all of those concepts so well, like they are massively underrated considering how difficult that is to do. Like that's just great game direction. Like Joseph Farris out there, that whole team killing it. They're also a pretty small team. It's really fucking impressive. If Neil Lely said, I'm a game dev who's been in the industry for far too long. I agree with you. I started work on a game back in 2004, which released in 2008, and that felt like an age back then. Now that would be considered quick. Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's a long time, and you have trouble iterating, and it's also, there's a certain point where, like, I can't wait to talk about all of this more one day. When you work on something for a really long time and a lot of things keep changing or like things get cut or moved around or replaced, you can kind of get to a point where you stop passionately doing the like idea generation part. Because if things have been cut 10 times, you're like, well, it might just get cut again. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing that I've like spoken to numerous AAA game devs about, where it's like the cycle of how long they last and how big those beasts are, and thus how like ever changing they are, can kind of kill innovation, which is also a reality of the situation that we're in. Can't help but wonder how studios like Strange Scaffold, El Paso, Elsewhere, I Am Your Beast, Click Holding have been able to make 3 great games in like 2 years. Strange Scaffold is also a really good example. What they do is the same kind of thing that Ubisoft does, but on a smaller scale. I would actually really love to talk to Zolavia just about that specifically, because I never have, about like the quality of their releases. Because this is my perception, but I could be totally wrong. That they iterate on their own game style. So like if you look at El Paso, Elsewhere, and I Am Your Beast, those 2 games have a ton of stuff in common. So it's like when you're working on the first game, you're also concepting parts of the second game. But they're like so uniquely positioned to be doing that, but it's a great strategy. It's a really, really good strategy. But yeah, maybe I should talk to him about that specifically. Like, how have you made these 3 games? Maybe I will. I'll message him and I'll do that on the Play Watch Listen channel. That'll be one of my interviews. Like, how are you doing that and how does it work? Although video gaming faces declining players and playtime, Roblox's growth is accelerating. Kill me. Shoot me in the face. Shoot me in the fucking face. Kill me right now. Take me on the back and put a gun to my face. Do it. Do it. It's fine. I'm done. Yet Roblox's growth is also heavily diversified. 60% of players are now over 13. Huge. And playtime and growth is split roughly evenly across all major regions. With 350, 400 million active users, Roblox already rivals the size of the entire AAA ecosystem and towers over core competitors. It's gonna make me cry on this stream for the second time. We already cried once today, and maybe, you know, maybe it's time to fucking do it again, you guys. Maybe this is the second time that we cry. The children have no taste. I think you can get a game code for that. Jeff, do you want to give Imagine EC? Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. It was JSON Jitsu. A game code for the children have no taste. Fun fact, everybody, you get a free video game here if you make me laugh. We have game codes to give away. If you get a good laugh out of me, I'll throw you a game code. It's part of the making people play more video games slash positive conversation. If Alanah stream is doing anything, it's starting to make me want to go play Roblox. I will ban you, Airborne. I will fucking ban you. Watch yourself. Yeah, while supplies last, Jeff. But also, I can get more. I can get more codes. We can add some more. Can I suggest a lighthearted Papers, Please game to cheer you up for some fun? Papers, Please isn't fun! And that's fine! My partner works as a 3D artist on a company that makes games on Roblox, and the benefits are good and the growth is amazing. I'm low-key jealous, and my employees are no slouch either. Hey, happy for everybody who works there. Sad for the state of the industry. Roblox is fucking... has more monthly hours of engagement than the whole of PlayStation? Are you shitting on my dick right now? Just Roblox, bro? Damn, girl, we gotta get you an enema for that shit you left all over my dick. That's crazy. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. In fact, Roblox, with half of the users of Netflix and about as many as Disney Plus, is about half the usage of Netflix and twice that of Disney Plus. Holy fucking shit, Roblox. Like, I knew it was big. I didn't... That really puts it into perspective. Oh my god. But Roblox doesn't focus on game-like objectives, win, kill, shoot, defeat, score, beat, but non-game-like ones, share, create, express, identify, feel, show. Yeah, so maybe, like, the part of that is, like, obviously, again, the shift to social video is, like, really, frankly, what's fucking driving us right now. Like, we were also talking about this on Play, Watch, Listen. I think it was Play, Watch, Listen, at least. I was talking to somebody recently about the culture shift of, like, it's not really... films right now. It is in some small cases, but like the blockbuster movies are not the ones that are pushing culture like they used to. It's more I phrased that badly. It's because there's so much IP that is succeeding in the box office. Movies that would be culturally relevant are not really doing that. Video games were expected to fill that gap, but they aren't really. It's social video. Like, our culture right now is driven by social video. Roblox probably is succeeding because it is leaning into that exact same system, the social video system. Why is PlayStation average their 2023 and everyone else is 2024? That's a good point. It's probably that they haven't released sales figures yet. You mentioned that on MinMax. That seems like something I would do. Moreover, Roblox's UGC economy is piping with over $3 billion in payouts. Wow. Yet Roblox also loses roughly $35 for every $100 a player spends after App Store and developer payments, only $52. Oh, that must be so sad for you, only $52. Go fuck yourselves. One problem is Roblox generates a fraction of the revenue per hour of rival platforms and publishers. That's interesting. So monetization per hour is quite low because the audience can't afford it, which means that I'm not familiar with Roblox. Maybe this will happen, but it hasn't happened yet, is that they will have advertising. That would be my guess, is that they will have ads inside of Roblox, and that's how they'll try to capture that revenue. I've been saying for a long time that I think this is very, very close to creeping up on us, that we're going to have more direct advertising inside of video games. I very much think the future of watch this ad before you get to see this cutscene is not that far away. And I hate it. I hate it. Another challenge is the tech/tools platform required for such scale. Roblox now spends 1.4 billion annually just on R&D. Yeah, but I'm cool with their spend. As you should. Spend the money. Mega giant Roblox. The children yearn for the blocks. Roblox's engine and data centers now enable surprisingly high fidelity games. I actually had no idea they could do that. Wow. Roblox's R&D also supports numerous mostly non-gaming platform efforts. Few platforms ever reach 400 MAU, and when they do, opportunities only grow. Also cool. Fine with that too. Yeah, Roblox has its own discoverability challenges. The most played experience is 10% of the playtime. Wow. Yeah, because Roblox is like a series of games inside of games, right? Mountain Dew verification can't soon to be a reality. I'm actually totally fine with, you know, in the case of the Naughty Dog game, actually fond of it. I'm fine with in-game product placement where I think it fits. Like in Alan Wake, I thought it was fun. The Naughty Dog game, that new Naughty Dog game, what is it called? I don't remember, the one that was revealed at the Game Awards. I think it fits. As long as it's like organic, it can kind of be charming in a way. I prefer that to many of the current suggested alternatives. Intergalactic, thank you. Yeah, thank you, JeffCon. I would prefer that to having to watch an ad. You know what I mean? Monster Energy and Death Stranding, they took it out, but like that one maybe was a little odd because it was so obvious. Oh yeah, by the way, sarcastically calling things woke and gay outside of this chat doesn't work very well. Never recommended that. Never recommended that. Woke and gay to you, sir. Moreover, Roblox's benefits, while great, come with large financial, technological, and strategic implications for developers. Cool with it. Okay, you know what? A, fuck you, Roblox. B, thank you for spending the money that you make, though. So, have you seen when they place ads in Twitch streams by adding the ads to specific textures in game? No? What? That's crazy. Wow. Still, the growing scale of the top Roblox titles is extraordinary. It is weird that we don't pronounce that word as extraordinary. We say extraordinary, but whatever. And they're supported by a fraction of the developers as similarly popular games and publishers. Fucking hell, dude. What is Blox Fruits? I've heard of Dress to Impress. I think I've maybe heard of Brookhaven RP, but I assumed that that was a book series. Oh, I'm so old. Hey kids, are you reading Brookhaven? That's really what I thought. Oh, my bones, they hurt. I'm elderly. Like Roblox, usage and creation of UGC mods has substantially outpaced overall video game spend and time, all while enriching gameplay and publishers. As long as they're giving it back, you know, could be worse. It could be worse. Unsurprisingly, UGC modding is often hyper-concentrated to top titles, a reflection of which genres are suitable. Metcalfe's law and publisher policies. CurseForge has seen its annual mod downloads increase, yeah. Wow, mostly Minecraft. That's cool. We like that. This is like just industry generating industry, right? We're on board with this. Cool with it. I enjoy commenting woke and gay on Alanah's social media and getting destroyed for it. Woke and gay to you, sir. Woke and gay to you all. As you should. I'm not interested in playing games that you pay full price for and getting served ads. I'll be satisfied with all games. I'm with you on that too. Mod.io 2 has seen an annual mod download surge to 500 million per year, supporting an average of 15 MMAUs by the end of 2024. Cool. Through real-time game assist or challenge mods for non-competitive games. Though I wonder if like modding, which is, you know, something I've done for a long time, as anyone who's PC gamed is, we be modding stuff. Because it gives older games fresh paint, it is also reducing the player base. Through real-time game assist or challenge mods for non-competitive games, WeMod is driving hundreds of millions of hours of diverse catalog engagement. Cool. Review potential new growth engines. As video game players and playtime stagnated, social gaming services continued to grow. Discord, MAU, and DU are up 20%. Though broadly considered a communications platform, Discord is a hyper-index to gamers, especially high-engagement social and multi-platform gamers. Yep. 1 in 5 Discord users uses the app to stream gameplay to their friends each month, and just under 1 in 3 watches monthly. Yeah, when I play games with my Patreon supporters, I stream to them every time. During COVID, I watched my friends play games while I was playing games like quite a bit. Yeah, the Discord streaming to friends stuff is both common and cool. Discord's group-based communication, organization, and social sharing results in disproportionate game discovery behavior. Wow. Huh. That's really cool. Unsurprisingly, Discord users have far greater gameplay diversification than typical gamers. Surprisingly, time is diversified as users scaled. Wow. Never would have expected Discord specifically to be this good for the games industry. That is really interesting. We literally just finished streaming on Discord for friends. Yeah. Because you can say you can count on Discord. You know I can't count. Don't play. Discord scale and influence over game discovery, squad formation, and cross-platform comms has even led PlayStation and Xbox to integrate Discord natively. Discord's new ad product, Quests, is naturally commercial in nature, but monetizes buy and rewards users for game discovery. Wow. I had no idea this was such a big thing. Switch 2. Nintendo's own game dominated Switch content sales in part because many of the top multi-platform games aren't on the device. Why? Many can't run on it. And while many hits are available on the Switch, the enormous performance drop tends to drive players who can play on another device to play on another device. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I will literally never choose to play any kind of AAA game that's multi-platform, that's not Nintendo exclusive, on the Switch. Like, not in a million years, right? We're not doing all that. Part of Switch's success stems from the same reason its third-party support was so modest. It launched with a 3-year-old mid-range and underlocked GPU. Though Switch 2's GPU is also expected to be underweight in 2025, it should adequately support most modern games, thus making them all portable. Which helps, apparently. It's a thing we need now. I hate it. Like, am I being old man yells at cloud that I hate that the console market is dying and that the good old single-player games are struggling in this new economy? It's not like they're going to go away entirely. That's not happening yet, but it is, slowly. Am I just being boomer and just holding on to the thing that I love, and the kids we just let them have their fucking Roblox? You know what I mean? Just keep supporting the games that you want to see more of. That's all I'm gonna say. The Switch is number 2 in the living room console ever, the sole growth driver in most markets, and also fully portable. Man, that PS2 era fucking popped off hard. Reviewing potential new growth engines, but it was also so emerging at the time. Like, I don't know, there's so many choices now. The success of Switch and Steam Deck advances in mobile GPUs plus living room console stagnation have made handhelds a renewed area of opportunity and focus. There will always be a market for single player. I agree. I do want to be clear, it's not going away. It isn't. Just getting smaller and struggling. We got to downscale somehow. No console has a better library than the PS2. I have more fondness for the Nintendo 64, but I don't disagree with you. That PS2 library. Goddamn. I get genuinely mad about the amount of support FIFA gets, and I know I shouldn't, but I can't help it. Dude, I unironically think that FIFA is responsible for the downfall of the industry. Like, I guess that's not true anymore. It's social video. We've established that it's time. The time wars do be popping off. That's where our biggest problem is. There are not enough people and not enough time. But FIFA Ultimate Team was the gateway drug for all of the monetization issues that I have with modern video games. Terrible. No, Mighty Jobles, time is not your biggest enemy. Time is your friend. Spend it wisely. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. Stop spending it on shit that doesn't even serve you. Spend it on things you enjoy. I know that sounds so simple, but like it is currency at this point. Things are being funded or not based on the time you spend on them. Please. Spend time on things that you like and that you want to support, not on things that are negative or make you feel shitty or don't serve you. Please. Please. Spend time on things you like. It matters so much. It's the same as like, that is the people's version of the stock market, where the rich are meddling around with their stocks, their stonks. All you can meddle around with is the time that you spend and what you spend it on. Please. Please. The Western devs wanted to have their cake and eat it too, and here we are? What? What are you talking about, Violent City? What do you mean when you say that? The Western devs wanted to have their cake and eat it too, and here we are. Huh? Yeah, I mean, even your message history, I can't figure out. Microtransactions? No. No. It could be being semantic, but Western devs do not want microtransactions. Western devs, majority of the people I know are Western game developers. That is the biggest audience of people that I personally know, of people in the West making video games. None of them want microtransactions. That is publishers. That is publishers, and it is informed by the stock market. That is coming from the stock market. There is absolutely no, I want to have my cake and eat it too from Western game developers. None of them are asking for microtransactions to be in video games. That is directly from shareholders in the stock market. It is not even a games industry thing. There is no Western dev who wants to have their cake and eat it too with microtransactions. They don't benefit from them. You don't get anything from having those in video games. It is solely publishers. And the publishers are doing that because they're required to by the shareholders in the stock market. Why do we need publishers? Great question. Outlaw them all. Money, publishing. That's all it is. It's not Western devs. I always want to be like, not devs, publishers. They're two separate fucking things. Steam-based handhelds gives players access to 75 to 150 billion in game entitlements locked to Steam. Yeah, I wonder how well the Steam Deck is actually doing. The potency of Steam lock-in explains Epic's PC Store challenge. Despite 70 billion in game giveaways, it's generating 300 million. Valve is also set to disrupt living room consoles, bringing its 100 billion in entitlements to the TV. Thank you, Shandores. Plus, its super scaled social graph and PC functionality, social integrations. There is a sense of unfulfilled promise that mobile gaming should have onboarded millions to higher fidelity gaming. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh my god, Farmville. I haven't thought about Farmville in ages. That is Farmville, right? I used to love that little thing on my Facebook. But mobile did grow the high-fidelity gaming audience. Mid-core titles are 12% of downloads across 3B mobile gamers, but over 50% of revenues. Wow. Hyper-casual. Huh. Interesting phrases. Indeed, annual spend on mid-core, including some de facto hardcore mobile games, once passed and is now not far from total spend on console/PC content. Though downloads and revenue for mid-core/hardcore mobile titles have stalled and shrunk in recent years, there are 4 potential drivers of future growth. The first, social 3D generation, improvements in mobile compute. This has to be. These, again, this is why Xbox is doing what they're doing. It's weird that there's, like, I get the pushback from loyalists who feel like they've, like, bought into a brand, but, like, the thing I don't get is people who are acting like they're dumb for it. It's just the smartest option based on the market right now, I think. Like, by quite a bit. While prior mobile gaming growth relied mostly on non-gamer adults adopting casual mobile titles, generations now grow up native to 3D gameplay and on mobile. But for a generation that grew up playing 3D free-to-play titles on hand-me-down iPads, spending $500 on a gaming-only console to just be able to play is absurd. Yeah, we've maybe already lost that market. Like, if they grow up playing Roblox for free on an iPad, how the fuck do you get them to buy a console? Yikes. Today, again, the Game Pass model makes a ton of sense. Today, 40 million people own a mobile device capable of running games with mid-grade Gen 8 console specs. By 2030, 1 billion people will have such a device. That's pretty wild. That's also pretty wild. This is devastatingly probably the future. You think we're staring down another gaming crash? Yes. I think that what we're looking at right now will be spoken about in 10 years' time as a crash. That is what it is. Meanwhile, cloud gaming continues to scale as latency and broadband improve, PC stores connect their entitlements, and regulators open up mobile devices. This is a quote from Phil in 2019. I think cloud gaming is years away from being a mainstream way people play, and I mean like years and years. Let's take Netflix. It's 20 years old at this point. Yeah, they're investing at the right time. I think game streaming will get there faster than 20 years, but it's not going to be 2 years. This is a technological change. I'm not trying to say go sell your consoles today and switch over to streaming. The experience just isn't the same as playing on your console. We'll have a global service that can reach everybody and the infrastructure to reach any customer with a consistent and high quality internet service, but that's going to take time. This is the future. It has to be the future. Why do developers still need publishers with so much online connection and easy to code launches? Why the need for tying yourself to a publisher that's pushing money? Developers need publishers because otherwise they can't afford to make games. For example, the game that I am narrative director on, Layers Deep, is 3 people. We currently do not have a publisher, which means we don't have enough money to finish the game. We would need help getting money to finish the game. It's a thing we're actively working on. It is required across the board. Money. You need money to make a video game. She's got a funny text. And as users embrace new forms of consumption, their engagement tends to migrate to the best possible screen. Yeah, that makes sense. That's like a lot of the market is just driven by which screen people prefer to consume things on. And though there tend to be high creative, technical, and financial costs to adapt console/PC-centric titles to mobile and for seemingly low ARPU and retention, can I suggest, I've been talking more about the books that I've been reading, but I'm part of a book club now. Just if anyone would like to, I'm currently reading a book called The Ministry of Time. If you want to just go buy that book and read that book, I would be more than happy. A book club fundamentally wouldn't make sense in my content, but I'm part of a book club with people like in person that we do that. Go read that book. And we could at least like spend time chatting about it here. Like, if that's something that takes you away from looking at your phone towards the end of the night and can maybe like break the brain rot, The Ministry of Time, everybody. That is a book that I am reading. If you buy it, we can talk about it. I'm a fan of that. I'll keep talking about books that I read. Maybe I'll try and do more of that. You really did not like that book personally? Fair enough. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm sure you guys considered it, so what's the reason you guys aren't trying crowdfunding like Kickstarter or something? We did. The game was funded by Kickstarter. It's not enough to finish the game. Need more. But it was already Kickstarter funded. Was the Ministry of Time the one that Amazon made in that series people dislike? No, I don't know. Basically, I'll tell you what books I'm reading, and if you want to go read them too, that would be cool, if you want. Focusing on the direct share of unique users plus spend is too narrow, especially for multiplayer title. Reads law network value grows exponentially with users. In other words, mobile may have been a small share of Fortnite revenues, but this is partly because it so substantially grew non-mobile revenues too. Makes sense. Recall that while mobile gaming spend has stalled and discovery/supply shriveled, App Store profits exceeded those of all non-China publishers' platforms in total. Crazy. Opening up iOS/Android app platforms could revive in-store growth, improve game maker margins, and renew innovations in over half the video game market. I shouldn't hang on. We need to eat. I'm just gonna call Rahul right now. Even though he's downstairs. Hey, can I put you on speaker? You'd be on the stream though. Hey, Rahul Kohli, love of my life. We need to eat. Do you have a meal already, or should I order something? Because we're gonna need to eat before we go out tonight. Yeah. Should I order something and include you on it, or do you have your own meals? Yeah, I have meals. All right, I'll order something for myself. Okay. Okay, love you, bye. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Housekeeping. You know how it is. After years of false progress, there's evidence that iOS Android app platforms might soon start to open up. As mobile opens, Steam has the opportunity to extend its entitlements. I hadn't even considered that Steam could open up its own kind of in-app app store. I wonder what the cuts are going to look like for that, though. Reviewing potential new growth engines. Over only a few years, indie developed mods spawned the largest AAA game genre in history. One adapted and or created by the very largest game makers globally. True. Armor 2. Raul got really mad at me the other day because he was like, what do you think is like one of the most influential games of the last 20 years? And I said, Armor 2. And he said, fuck you. I stand by it. Armor 2, big influence. Oh, you finished Techno-Feudalism after I recommended it. Great book. Highly recommend that too. Everybody read Techno-Feudalism. Really, really good book. Yeah, Armor 2, huge. Hugely influential. Yet battle royales were not a new idea, rather they were newly possible ideas as a result of various technological advances. For all their sophistication, most of today's top games use less data than legacy apps like Facebook, and 100th the data of top video calling and streaming apps. Yes? Wagwan?
See this?
See what?
I ordered it.
Incredible. Wow, the hair. Wow.
I even gave him a goatee.
Wow. That sure is something that you've done.
What's wrong with it?
It's disgusting.
Why is
But
it
incredible.
disgusting?
It's just a lot. Is that the list?
Yeah.
Cool. That's sick.
And that's the octopus because he eats.
Yeah. Very nice.
You know, okay. I thought that was good.
No, it is. It's just disturbing to look at. I don't think it's I'm not saying it's not
His
good.
goatee's AI.
How dare you?
You know, generated fill on Adobe.
Yeah.
It just went goatee and it went bloop.
Crimes. Very nice. Banjo, everybody, look at him. My little boy. Named Banjo.
He's in a weird mood.
He's in a weird mood. What's wrong with Banjo? I don't know, man. Oh, big stretch. Oh. What you doing? You doing good, dog stuff? Hi, baby. Hi, little boy. Hello, my muffin. How are you? Hello, Mando. Some new video games are cloud streaming. Data per hour, not as a rendering solution a la Stadia, but for traditional local processing rendering. Yeah, I do think Stadia is the future that died too fast. Oh yeah, Microsoft Flight Sim is a great point. Hello, Mando. Oh, he's such a good boy. Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 runs 500 million kilometers. That's too many. That's too many maths. I can't. Possible due to a vast number of solutions across Microsoft Azure Bing Maps. In 2024, the US Federal Aviation Administration announced helicopter pilots could receive credit towards their pilot ratings on Loft Dynamics VR systems. That's sick. Even the biggest games in the world are working on new ways to expand their reach and role, in some cases by going beyond the game. EA's Sports new app includes real-world team and match data, including schedules. Wow, that's actually pretty helpful. Who did it say would win? Between Liverpool and Tottenham? I mean, we all know who would win that particular game, obviously, right? That was actually a fucking sick game. 9 goals scored, everybody. The most recent one of these. Yeah, we smashed it. We smashed it. To be honest, we smashed them. Have you seen the leaks about Steam's attempt at another console-like device, Steam Machine? Would be a lot better with improved OS after the Steam Deck. I have not. EA Sports Highlighter promises new functionality whereby users can replay real matches, but real-time in-engine. That's fucking cool. I didn't know that. Whoa. Huh. I would actually probably play FIFA if it had. Oh, well, I don't want to play them. I would want to like watch them, but be able to swap in. No, okay, that's not what I thought. I was like, if it became like a companion app to the Premier League where I could like rewatch particular things and like it's like you could be your own VAR, then I would probably do that. But I think it's not saying that. It's just saying that it will use the data from the matches and let you replay them. It's also to identify some technical catalysts for new genres, but not how far they must mature their cross-dependence or what they'll make. Oh man, I'm pretty excited about that game, even though we know nothing about it. Oh, the expansion pack, truly the GOAT. To some, generative AI may be a holy grail that helps halt cost escalation and reduces minimal viable scale and allows also grows players and player per second spend. Yeah, so one way in that that generative AI, which I'm not against entirely for the record, there are many facets of it that I am against, but not entirely, that I think is both helpful and okay, we also spoke about on Play Watch Listen this week, which is using AI that is trained on assets from a studio to generate placeholders. It prevents bottlenecking in game development. That, in theory, makes games slightly cheaper because there is slightly less time spent. But that's like really the only way that I'm okay with it. Being fully against it is silly. Totally. The internet thinks I'm fully against it because I said that I was against in-world AI, or I wouldn't play any game that uses in-world AI. And the reason I said that is because they were proposing text generation with ChatGPT 3. Like, not even the most recent ChatGPT, the older one. And so people like took that to mean I'm against all AI, which doesn't make any sense. Because video games always use AI all the time. Have we seen the latest AI news? I was going to talk about that today, but ended up doing this. We'll get there. Today, we're doing this. Reminder, the industry-wide content developer spend has surged 90%. Yeah, you did say that before. Playability and AI that could have different conversations and present you with other dialogue options. Well, we don't need AI for that. That can just be narrative design. I think that's like a really common misunderstanding that a lot of these like AI companies are trying to push in their marketing. Like I think even Nvidia, who I really like as a company and have a good relationship with, and I'm always going to buy their shit, is kind of being dishonest about that. This idea that, well, we could use AI to have different conversations or be different dialogue options. Yeah, we can already do that in game development. We are already fully capable of doing that. We don't need AI to do that. It's not required. For many, the big opportunity in generative AI is not production saving or efficiency, at least not directly. Instead, it's altogether new genres/experiences, which I guess is something we don't even know anything about yet. 2023 researchers at Google and Stanford published a paper summarizing a 2-day simulation designed to test the believability of virtual agents by large language models. Specifically, the researchers assembled a town equipped with houses and dormitories, colleges and offices, grocery stores and bars, and populated with 25 autonomous agents powered by large language models modified to store a complete record of the agent's experiences using action. That's actually very cool. During the simulation, characters organically formed routines while also establishing friendship, sharing information learned, and developing professional interests. After the researchers prompted one NPC to host a Valentine's Day party, the NPC opted to invite her friends to the party, roping in customers at the cafe where she worked too, and asked her closest friend to help them with decorating. The friend then did so and revealed that she had a crush on another NPC. Neat experiment, not functionally helpful at this point. For many, the big opportunity in generative AI is not production saving or efficiency, but at least not directly. Instead, it's altogether new genres/experiences. I'm actually okay with that. Because creating something new is not replacing something old. Some of these experiences are technically viable without generative AI, but their operation would far outstrip economic viability. Even that, though, the fucking energy cost for this doesn't even make it that much cheaper than just, like, again, not that we even know what it is yet. But it's still fucking expensive. Like, it is not cheap to run an AI game for however many thousands of people want to run it at any one given time. It'd be interesting to see how all this stuff pans out, though, obviously. We're all kind of waiting on it. Some of these experiences are technically viable without generative AI, which is probably part of what I was talking about, as a lot of it actually can be done. Their operation would far outstrip economic viability and may be less believable, too. After the simulation concluded, each behavior of agent was reviewed and evaluated for the believability. Each agent was also interviewed for self-knowledge, memory. Wow, this is kind of scary. Independent humans co-workers were also hired and asked to watch each agent's 2-day experience and then roleplay as those agents while answering the same questions. The Stanford/Google researchers found that LLM agents consistently outperform their human roleplayers. Holy shit. Agents with full true scale ranking on the Google Stanford experience. Human crowd worker. So, okay, I don't know how to read this properly. Agents with full architecture. That's just, but weren't they all that? They didn't have variability, did they? Weren't they all full architecture? Maybe this is based on previous studies. Far more controversially, some believe generative AI world models might come to replace much of a game engine, and in doing so, create unbound virtual worlds. Technically, could happen. Also expensive. Also requires like huge ethical leaps that I think are probably going to get real heavy in copyright law. Server farms right now are one of the biggest impacts on electricity and water use they require for all this AI processing. Yeah, I think people underestimate how fucking big it is. It's a huge thing. For most media categories, advertising will continue 40 to 50% of total revenue, contributing just under $1 for every hour of consumer spend. This is what I was talking about earlier, so I'm expecting there to be more advertising inside of video games kind of sooner rather than later. The digital video market matured, growth shifted to ad-supported models that had lower monthly bills yet generated higher net ARPU for services. In the US, video games get less ad spend than outdoor and radio. Barely beat print, it makes sense. Hold 12.6% of digital media time, but only 2.8% of digital media ad spend. Yeah, this is like a no-brainer. Again, I don't love it, but it feels a lot like something that these companies are going to look at and go, hey, that's something we have not yet tapped, which is in-game advertising. Again, don't love it. And as consumer spend fell 2.3 billion v 2021, related ad revenue grew 9 billion from 8% to 12% of total revenues. But nearly all is on mobile games to promote mobile games. Huh. Video games face many problems to scaling advertising, enough for its potential revenues to have been overlooked during the last 15 years of hypergrowth. I guess this is why they haven't been looking at it. Ad unit problem, size, dimension, resolution, placement. Good point. Standard view problem, ads are seen at irregular cadences. Yeah, so how do you charge for them? Call to action plus measurement problem. Live and interactive let alone multiplayer content is not oh yeah. It doesn't encourage people to actually click away from anything. Limited history of ads problem. Yeah, there's not a lot of data on it. Programmatic network requirement. High minimum viable scale. To attract substantial advertiser interest, the industry needs to offer a substantial scale of audience impressions formats. Well, we do have that though, don't we? But as real game prices and engagement fall while costs and failure rates surge, advertising has become a key area of focus for the biggest platforms / publishers. Reviewing GTA 5 pricing. It's so crazy. This has its own fucking section just on GTA 5. We're brain rotting ourselves to death. We sure are, brother. We sure fucking are. We are brain rotting the entire industry to death and several other industries to death. Brain rotting everything. It's not great. You have to watch an ad before you can play a game each session. Yeah, that's what I suspect to happen at some point. But the problem is, the minute that you do that, you're just going to pull out your fucking phone. And that's what I'm saying we're competing with. Did I misread that? Did it say that most spending on mobile was for player acquisition, but it's not actually giving equivalent returns? It said, well, effectively, yes. It said most spending on mobile gaming was for other mobile games, and that it is not giving equivalent returns because people are already engaged in the game that they're playing. People don't leave games when they're playing them to go buy things is the problem. In 2025, GTA 6's impact on industry playtime and spend will be mixed, as it launches console only and cannibalizes hours / spend on other titles. Yeah, GTA can't save the industry because it's just cannibalizing the small player base. Some game makers hope GTA 6 will be priced at $80 to $100, breaking the $70 barrier and helping $50 titles move up to $60. Recall, the game prices have never been lower in real terms than they are today. This I really did not realize. Because again, I always tend to take the consumer angle of, fuck you, pay them less than, pay Bobby Kotick less. Don't make my games more expensive. But I didn't realize it was quite this bad. Like, part of the problem is literally that games are cheaper than they have ever been while costing more to make than they ever have before. Crazy. No other major leisure forms have seen their products become worth less nearly every single year for decades. This hurts developers of every size and budget. That's fucking wild. In real terms, $70 GTA 6 would be the cheapest ever GTA, 30% less than its original 2D entries, and 16 to 24% less than GTA 4 and GTA 5. $91 would be average. Fucking hell, man. Wow. Reviewing potential new growth engines. That's it, right? We did it. We got through the whole thing. 224 pages. So worth noting, this is by Matthew Ball. The slides are all sourced, but of course this is just, you know, a report from one. I'm not going to tell you that everything in here is necessarily 100% true. It's Just disclosure. But I think it's really interesting. I think the whole thing is really interesting. Would highly recommend reading through it. If my coverage was not comprehensive enough for you. Basically, thing I've been saying for a long time. COVID had a huge impact on the games industry, obviously. But the bigger thing is we are competing with social media. There are not enough fucking gamers. Social media is too addictive. Even gaming content on social media is beating players. Like people are consuming gaming content instead of actually playing fucking video games. Play more video games. Play the ones you like. That's the whole thing. That if you want the kind of games you like to succeed, play them. Hear me out. Just play them. On that note, I gotta go eat. I'm going out tonight. I think is the Taylor Swift lyric. I think. So the TikTok ban would be beneficial for the games industry? Genuinely, potentially, yes. Not that people wouldn't just take up other social video, but like, yeah, I would encourage you to like, instead of picking up your phone when you get home from work, pick up a video game controller. Genuinely. Please. Play more video games. The ones you like. Just, I'm not telling you to play the shit ones, okay? I'm not telling you to play the ones that you're not interested in. I would never tell you to do that. There are some bad video games out there. I just don't play them. I don't talk about them. I don't play them. Play the ones you like. That's all I'm saying. Play more video games. Papers, Please is a great game, okay? It's just not fun. Let's go raid. Let's go raid Alfredo. He's playing Helldivers 2. Raid Alfredo plays. Tell him I said hi. I believe I will be live Wednesday I'm currently aiming for 3 p.m., but that one's a little hairy because it kind of depends on a bunch of shit. So I can't guarantee that, unfortunately. But yeah, planning to next be live on Wednesday and on Friday. Times depends on schedules is all. And we will catch up on the Elon's American news that I definitely did not cover today. So I will see y'all soon. Tell Alfredo that I said g'day, mate. And I'll see you guys next time.